OBS just like broke. It just physically... Oh, that music was way too loud. The OBS just broke. It wouldn't let me go live. But I'm live now. So hello. Yeah, sorry if the music was way too loud. My bad, my bad. First time got to the start of the stream. Amazing! Welcome in! Now you get to be here for the normal thing of me saying hello and then quickly leaving to go get coffee. I'll be right back. Show us the cute face. Hold on. In a bit. You know, it's kind of fitting that the Lore teaser music just started playing when it's the Lore podcast this time. Oh my god! I'm dropping everything! Anyway, of course I didn't turn my camera on. Why would I? As if I was prepared for literally anything today. Hello? Camera. What the freak? There we go. What's up, dude? What's good? I need to turn my other room on. Hold on. There we go. Full lighting. Oh my goodness. You'd think I'd be prepared today, but no. No, I'm not. When am I ever prepared at this point? I was barely able to scarf down my food. My goodness. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Obviously, today is the Proxy podcast. I should already be in the call. I'm sure they're all already there. Give me 1 second, and then I will join them. They are in the call, but they're muted. Perfect. That gives me a little bit of time to get something else set up. Ashikai just joined the call, so never mind. I have no time to set it up. All right, boys, hold on. Let me join. Let me pause my music, and then we'll do audio balancing because again, I don't have people on that often, so we will have to audio balance. Hello?
So would you have OBS open by chance?
Yeah, but I don't remember where this is.
Oh, don't worry. I can walk you through it. Very easy.
Oh.
Do you... It's the virtual camera.
I don't have one.
Do you have the control?
Oh, it's
panel?
over here. Never mind.
Yeah.
There it is.
Chat, how does it sound? How does it sound? Sorry, I know we're literally just jumping right into it, but...
Oh, wait, what the...
My ass did not.
Oh, hello,
But it wants
hello.
to on a stream. Because I low-key dropped
Hi,
ZZ,
guys.
but hey.
We're doing some
That's
tech
okay.
stuff
if you're
right now.
Back, go in.
Oh, yeah, no worries. I was
Ashkai's
just
quiet.
hearing
Ashkai's
voices. I
quiet
was like,
for
where are
me
these voices
too.
coming from?
But I have her turned up as loud as I possibly
Where
can
in
on
the
Discord.
heck?
I joined it.
I literally have Ashkai at 200%.
Don't mind us. We're just moving in.
So,
Exacto.
We gotta
that-
unbox.
I'll try and figure out if I can. Like,
Okay.
amplify
I
it
gotta do my
somehow.
own virtual cam actually, because
Okay, I know.
I forget that that's how I share it.
Oh wait, I have an idea.
You guys can see mine too.
Josh is too loud. Yeah. Josh
I
is
also
too
need to
loud.
Pop that out.
How does age sound? Hey, Josh, could I have you do a little audio? Just say a sentence.
I was crazy. I was crazy.
Yeah, you were crazy once. Only once though.
A singular time.
Yeah, only that one time. Age, if you could also say, just say another sentence.
Yeah, I was crazy once too, you know. Just also that singular time.
Right.
So,
Yours during the exact same
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then I would
Our
say,
minds connected.
I would say, Ashkai, say something so I can audio balance, but I do have you at 200% already, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
me,
I
me
also
too.
have Ashikai at 200%.
Same.
Turn myself up. I can turn
If
it up.
possible, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, turn it up. Turn it up.
It's just that like this thing, oh, it's so big.
Oh my god.
It's just this thing looks like it blows out my mic when I turn it up.
Just turn a
too
bit
high, so
louder.
I try not to.
There's going to be a VOD? It will be a
think it's 'cause
VOD,
of
yes.
Discord.
Yeah, the
Definitely
VOD will be here.
That like
Too low
Is it
now?
Discord?
He's too
yeah,
low
I'm pretty
now.
sure.
Okay, too
Is
low
that
now.
better or worse?
No,
Turning
this
it
is
up.
much better.
Turning it up.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I feel as though like on your
Testing,
end, what you're
testing,
monitoring,
testing,
like,
testing,
it's pretty
testing,
high,
testing.
but then
That's
when
too
it
loud.
gets
Testing, testing, testing,
outputted to
testing,
us,
testing.
it's
Okay,
less
that's
so.
it. It looks like it's about
It's not
even
your
now.
fault.
I wonder if it's like, I wonder if I'm just not used to where Discord or
Yes?
if where OBS puts like the yellow and red parameters. Because like in Audacity and other
We good?
audio editing softwares, like usually
looks like it's
green
balanced
goes
now.
right up to 12.
Mushroom. A bit higher?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized I don't like this scene.
Here, I got you. I'll turn it up
Um,
just a little bit. Ashikai, I think, will always be a little bit low. I will
forgot.
say.
How do you? Is it
I will
show
say.
non-viewer participants? Yeah, it
Why
is.
is this
Okay.
not
Okay, let me
work?
also zoom in a little bit so you can not see my mess of a room. Shut up, dude. I do laundry, I promise.
Why does window capture never work on Twitch?
Okay. That's okay. I think I know what's wrong with it.
Let
That's better.
me put this over here. Put this over
It
here.
doesn't have my filters.
Put this
That's
over
what it
here.
is.
Ah.
Well, because like I have like a what do you call it? Like a noise pass that's like trying to take out like the fan sound in the background
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that. And so I think I have some decibel boosters and stuff on my typical setup.
Okay, I need to have Twitch open because I know Josh is gonna want to do the little knock knock thing, and I'm gonna get obliterated
Yeah.
by it.
Okay. That's better.
Okay. Let me pop Discord out. Ta-da. OBS. Start virtual cam, but correctly.
I'm just sitting here with myself on the screen.
I know, don't worry. I'm trying to get mine up there. I'm trying. OBS
Like, I'm
virtual
trying-
camera. Oh, great. Chat, we're professional streamers.
I'm not. That's not a joke. I'm not.
That is, I mean, you know what?
No,
It
Fresh, you're a
honestly, it does.
professional educator.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm here for my lore lesson, honestly.
Oh, it didn't start virtual cam. Okay, well, that's not what I wanted. That's still the wrong thing. Or is it?
I wish I could figure out a way to share the Discord
It's so
Oh.
big compared to
thingy.
Sherry. I don't like it.
without having to share just my screen.
Why do I always cause infinite? Okay, full cam. There we go. There we go.
Hey.
Got it. Let's go. Okay, now, chat, I'm going to disable my normal camera so that I'm not double on the screen. There you go. See, I know what I'm doing.
Let's go.
HKK Inception.
Oh wait, true. We should knock knock.
Mm,
Let me do that.
What?
yeah.
Oh, on Twitch you can like knock on another creator's stream, so then you can share your chat.
Yep. It merges the
Oh.
chats so it all happens at the same time, and then it makes me really confused. Who's there? We're all here. So
Okay.
HKK, Ashikai, and Josh is all here. We're just still getting things set up.
I forgot how to
Totally
make
no scuff.
this image like do
Accept.
the faily thingy. Fadey.
Does it auto mute me in the knock knock?
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
believe so if you had it before.
Okay. Bless. Hello, here for the ZZZ gang. Let's
Oh.
go.
Mine isn't even showing. Wait, how do I get it to show in Discord? Oh, I gotta turn on the camera. Right.
Yeah, there we go. Oh my god, you're at the Ballet Twins?
Yeah.
No way. Be careful in there.
I might change locations at some point.
Oh wait, that's so cute.
Knock
Oh, wait,
knock
I was
references from
literally trying to like
ZZZ.
change my monitor
True.
and like adjust my windows in Discord, but it's because I was on as a stream. I was clicking and nothing was happening.
That'll do it.
Sorry, EO swung by.
What did that fool want?
Yo, what's up, EO?
He just wanted to spread the Seth propaganda. You know. What to do
Oh,
there.
oh yeah.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the
You know what to
propaganda
do,
yet.
Seth
I like
goaded.
Seth.
Don't worry, he'll
I like
swing by. He
propaganda.
hasn't gotten to your side in the neighborhood yet.
I should hopefully get my Seth cosplay in like a week or two.
That's exciting.
because it is ordered.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, Az is also cosplaying, dude. I need to get on that then. Shit.
Yeah, I told chat they wanted me to also cosplay Ray from Scott Outpost. So I'm gonna do
Ray, yeah.
Ray
Oh.
after after Seth.
That'll be
Is
cute.
wait,
Yeah.
is there a Doki Doki of Ray's cosplay?
I don't
think so,
know
right?
actually. I told
think I
they
have to
asked
commission
me
it.
and I was like I'll do it. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I may have to makeshift it, but I can make do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Like
chat.
we have some connections. Somebody can make an arm for you. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Chat, we have to decide on a character for me to join. One of these days, we'll all
Bernice.
show up in cosplay.
Everyone does Bernice. You
That's
should
true.
do Vivien.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, Vivien. I'm actually. Oh, I'm so happy with how they wrote her. She's so cute.
I thought I wasn't gonna like her fangirling of Faithin, and I also didn't
Me
think I'd
too.
like her voice, but in practice it actually worked pretty well.
I love
surprised.
her. She's such a cutie pie. Her story is so good. And also, I sat there and looked at her animations, like her auto attack animation when we had her like in the hollow for so long because she was swinging, but her umbrella was off to the side, which means it was confirmed, by the way, that she does have a hidden blade in her umbrella like Neo from Ruby. So I do need to know which dev watched Ruby, and I need the collab now.
But yeah. Oh wait. Also, Ashikai, is it? I
Mm.
know you said you like raised your mic already, but my chat's saying that you're still kind of quiet.
Am
Would you
I?
be able to
Okay.
raise it a little bit more?
I
you-
can crank her up.
Oh yeah, crank it.
Okay. Oh, I think I broke it.
Oh no.
Okay. Now we just need Az.
Is that better?
I didn't hear too much of a difference that time.
Yeah, it sounds the same to me.
It's so weird because it like if I talk loudly, it'll like turn the whole bar red.
Yeah,
it's like-
Discord.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Discord's
blowing it
funky.
out, but like I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it's blowing it out.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
She's
wonder
not
if
And
quiet.
then
Okay.
there are some moments where Discord will the Discord actually will cut you off because it has the
Mhm.
whatchamacallit with that filter. But
I have the output volume all the way up too. I don't know really what else to do
Okay.
there.
Okay, wait. The chat says that you're good now. It's the same.
I was gonna say,
But okay, apparently it's fine. So
It sounds the same to me. I didn't hear any difference, but I mean, as long as it sounds okay.
yeah, as long as it's fine.
Yeah, my
I don't
chat's.
know.
Because I can
Yeah.
hear you fine.
Oh wait, no, is that my chat? How do I know? Whatever, dude.
yeah,
I don't.
that's the one thing with shared chat. We
I recognize my YouTube side. Yeah, again, by the way, YouTube side. I know we streamed this last time. I'm so sorry, but a lot of your chats will be probably ignored, not on purpose, but it's just there's a lot of Twitch chats that are flooding through, and I can't
Yeah.
sync my YouTube chat in. With
we
the,
we
with
we,
the
lo-
Twitch
we love the
knock-knock.
YouTube side though. Don't think we forget about you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
If
I
you
only
guys
forget about them
want to
sometimes.
answer or ask questions and stuff, there will be dedicated moments throughout the
Mhm.
live portion of the Proxy podcast.
You don't take the
that
L
we
that
will
often,
address
you
a lot of,
two.
your guys' questions.
You're
so,
most of
don't
my
feel like
you're
you guys are
most
being
of my
completely
team,
left out.
okay?
We're gonna find spots to be able to fit you guys in because I mean that's the whole point of us doing it live, so then we can chat with you guys alongside with chatting amongst
Hey,
yourselves. So
YouTube
don't
side
feel like
has
you guys are left out,
emotes
just that,
too.
Again, interacting with you
But
guys.
Twitch
not
does
to
have
be,
the animated
directly,
emotes.
But
right,
you
Keep
you
can't.
guys
cheating on us with
ask
Twitch.
questions. Yeah,
No.
Be aware of that.
Don't force us while you're at it. I
chat
swear.
in general, don't
If
worry.
Twitch
YouTube
let
chat,
me
you guys are
integrate
never
both of them,
forgotten.
I would do it.
My
I
YouTube chat is
would.
unhinged.
You're in
Yeah, sometimes I jump into your YouTube chat.
Sometimes they're more
to-
down bad than I am, which is saying something. Not to call you guys
I
out,
don't
but
mean to ignore people. I just
Oh, hello.
Hello.
What?
What's up?
Oh, Ashikai just like cut off there for a second for me.
No, that was me actually just talking quietly.
Oh,
Ah, fair enough.
I do need to do one thing before we start. I do need to quickly fix my headphones.
Mic issues caused by Discord's automatic gain control. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that
you think that's a
happens.
problem?
Because oh wait, for Josh and Az, because I think the first I was listening back to the first 2 podcasts, and my mic
Yeah.
was really scuffed on Discord, right? Was it better in the one with Ruby? Because I tried fixing it for that one, right?
Yeah, from the last podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was scuffed in the first place, so I didn't really
Oh.
notice the difference between the 2 episodes. I'm not gonna lie.
I noticed it a little bit, but yeah, when you pointed it out, that's when I was going back to edit the videos, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember there were moments where like I had seen like when I was checking the levels on my timelines and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, she was peeking out a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. But then episode 4, you weren't peeking at all, so
Okay.
yeah.
Good to
Might be that.
know. Yeah,
Really
because I
plug me.
tried using like the different noise suppression thing, and then also like turning off the auto like cutoff. Because I think one of them is like better than the other. One of them like really kind of cuts off your audio a lot. So
Okay, that's
Oh.
not what I asked. Plugged in the charger and now it's trying to do some stupid thing. Don't do that.
yeah, the automatic gain controls in the advanced part of the Discord voice settings. Yeah, there's like a bunch of settings that are you have to kind of mess around with.
I'm back from the void.
Oh, that's
USB
the
mode. Yeah, sorry, I had to do my Bang Boo plugins. Took me a second.
Was that Ashikai?
You're
Oh, you cut off there, Ashikai.
what?
We heard like
Ow!
we're-
We did not hear anything that you just said. If
We-
you said
we
something
only
in the
heard
past.
there was a syllable that happened, yes.
Discord settings, voice and video, scroll all the way down, and automatic gain control is a toggle. Is what chat's saying.
It is a toggle, yes.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Do I have that off? Let me look. Voice and video.
And in the meantime, while us 4 are finicking with some settings, if you guys are on the YouTube side of our
It
chats,
is on.
Turn it
gotta
off.
head over to Twitch. Turn that shit off. But yeah, head over to Twitch, everybody, and check to see if you have your Twitch Primes. As you guys should be, just click that subscribe button. See if you have the Twitch Prime box and subscribe to twitch.tv/HKK, twitch.tv/AsRealVanity.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it. Thank you.
that's it. That's the sauce right there.
Where's your camera, by the way, Josh?
Wait,
I
think I'm
always share screen it. I never cam it.
blind.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need to see
Sorry.
your face. Get in here.
Sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I see 2
Yeah.
Joshes now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cause like because this one's a little bit like laggy for me, but if I share my OBS virtual, like it becomes so much cleaner.
Is it?
Because it's
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, mine is faster this time. Oh, wait, am I sharing screen or am I? Oh, I
Yeah,
am
you're sharing
sharing.
screen.
Oh,
Wait, how do you share the screen?
I
Oh, you're
figured
sharing
it
it. Okay,
out.
wait. Let me try. Let me try. Share.
Yeah, because I share screen, OBS virtual cam, and it's so much.
Capture device. Oh no, OBS virtual.
Did you click the Elgato one? I also did that at first.
I clicked the. It even does the mirror for me. Wait, no, it's still mirror. Wait, am I mirrored?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh
Hold
my
on.
god, my brain. No, it's okay. No, this is not mirrored. My brain just completely exploded.
There we go.
I was like, wait, is my room mirrored or not? I'm sitting in it.
I was gonna say it looks the exact same. So. Uh-oh.
Okay.
How can I have all of the share screens on at the same time? Is that possible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do the eye. It's like we'll start watching multiple streams.
I feel like hold on 1 second.
Oh.
I'm hearing a buzzing from. Wait, is it from someone or is it from literally just me?
Is that from me?
I
hear a
don't
buzzing too.
it. Oh, you do? Is it me? Because I don't hear it.
Age, turn off your
Is it
stream
me?
real quick. Like your Elgato cam. It was you.
There it is.
Damn it, man. Wait, what? Wait, what was that?
I don't
We're
know.
playing
I
chicken
don't
there for a
know.
little bit.
I
Were
don't
you
know
able
what
to
that was.
mute my stream?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, come back.
yeah,
you
try
you can
that.
come back in.
Try
Let me see.
Wait, yeah, try. Is there like an audio? Is it from the audio?
Yeah, because
software?
if it might be
I
from the
muted it.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
I
sorry.
forgot
I don't
that it
know.
does that.
I don't know. Like.
Okay, where's the eye thing that you guys are talking about? Sorry.
Oh, okay. So in the top right, you might have it not clicked because we toggle it so that it looks better whenever we're streaming. Right now, make sure in the top right, when you click the little hamburger thing, the 3 lines, that the show non-video participants is checked. In the top right, there's the 3 buttons. There's the 3 little dots.
Okay,
Click on it, make sure that's checked. And then on the streams themselves, there's 2 different buttons. There's the watch now, or there's just the eye with the plus. Click the eye with the plus on both streams. It'll pull both of them up. And then once you have everyone up, then recheck, make sure that the show non-video participants is unchecked. And then it'll just be everyone.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
If you need help, I can
Go
pull up your
here.
stream to see what you're looking at.
No. No, I didn't click the eye. It should be fine though. Hold up. Just okay, go back. Click the eye. Perfect.
We can be as down bad as we want tonight, and you probably won't notice. I'll notice. I'll notice.
We will. Yes, we will be noticing.
Don't worry, you won't get off completely scot-free, YouTube chat. I got eyes on you.
Sweat.
We're finally ready. Also, can I not show the live FPS thing? That's kind of cringe.
What?
Because it has the
Oh, on your cam?
yeah, on everybody's cams.
Oh, move your mouse
I only
off
see
of
the
Discord.
live. Yeah.
Ah,
There we go.
Beautiful.
there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Simply. Okay, one last thing I need to do, and then we can start recording, and then we'll get started. Sorry, everybody, for all the tech issues.
Okay, wait, let me
But
pause these.
hey, hopefully we're all excited.
Hey, it wouldn't be
For
the
the
Proxy
podcast today.
podcast if we don't redo every tech issue every time.
Exactly. It's true.
Okay.
It's part of the experience, actually.
True, Nelsie. You do have responsibilities.
And the record button is now hit.
Consistency is key. Consistently
That's
scuff.
right. You guys now come to expect us to scuff every single setup. So
Yeah.
you know.
Wait, Ashikai, are you talking?
Oh.
Oh. Ash.
Uh-oh.
This whole time, I
Oh
thought.
no. Oh no.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
They're back.
Oh,
They're back.
oh.
Never mind. They left.
You're coming in and
You're
out.
coming Did you turn your volume like up? Maybe turn it back to what it was before, because before you weren't cutting out at least. And people are saying the volume was like the same. So
Yeah, I think we might need to
whatever
bring
you
back.
did, maybe undo it.
Undo it. Control Z it.
Signal in the Ballet Twins is pretty bad. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a hollow on the horizon, so
Yeah.
might affect the signals.
Yeah, they don't got many towers out there, you know.
You gotta be on the rooftop. That's how Rain did it.
True. Actually, you need Faithin to help with the communication. That's part of their whole shtick,
Yeah,
right?
Josh, get back in the EOS cosplay. Go on. Let's go.
Never
I've
again.
been talking.
Oh,
Oh,
We heard
it
you
a
there
little
for
bit.
just a second.
Don't.
Oh no.
Oh no, Ash.
I feel
What
so
you-
bad. It's definitely not you, Ashikai. It's some.
It's
Yeah.
something I'm up
Discord.
with.
Something with Discord is happening. 'cause
Yeah.
We're getting one word every like I don't know how many words you're saying. We're hearing
you guys even hearing
you
just now?
say a word every other like 5 words or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you run your mic through a software or just through the audio interface? Question. Wait, how do you look at the chat of the stream?
Oh my god,
On
I forgot I
Discord?
had that command. Yeah, what are you looking at right now,
She's speaking
Ashikai?
in Morse code.
Like on your end, you know how when you talk on your end, it shows your green icon lighting up? Does it look like that for you, Ashikai, whenever you talk?
Oh, Ashikai left.
Oh,
I think they're gonna try unjoining, rejoining.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
okay, okay.
see if that might fix something.
Were
Yeah.
you silent or silenced? That's crazy.
Hello, hello.
Hello. But yeah,
If we are talking, it's not registering. Oh, there we go. I don't see the green halo.
yeah, Ashikai, if you talk, do you see yourself lighting up as green on your end? Oh,
I think that might be a no.
oh no.
Wait, did you hear something there?
Oh,
Yes.
Ah,
Oh,
oh,
say a
Hello?
sentence.
we heard yes.
I just did say a sentence.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now we
Oh,
can hear you.
oh.
That sentence we could hear though. Okay, well at least it sounds like it's
Is
working
it
now.
consistent?
It's consistent
Now it
right
now.
now it
yes.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so apparently OBS and Discord hate each other. I don't want to troubleshoot
Oh.
it. I just reset all of my audio settings to whatever the default is, and that's just how it's gonna be.
Okay, that works.
That's
okay.
It works. You're loud
That's
enough
totally
for
fine.
me.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think there's just too many softwares that are conflicting with each other. So we're either just gonna either you can use my Fugi, or you can just have no screen of mine. Like I can't use the virtual cam because OBS fucks with Discord.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Right,
I
'cause
think
you
we
would
can use
yeah.
your do I have that? Does it auto Discord chat? Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
it shows everyone though. Wait,
It does
and
show everyone.
just Ash.
Is there a way to edit that?
I mean, I could here. I'm gonna do the super scuff way. I just crop everyone else.
Oh, that works. True.
Yeah, because I mean, you could technically go to the site.
Your
and
hat's gonna
get
be
the
in the way.
specific
But
one.
there we go. There you go. Okay, chat.
That's the best I can do.
Hey, it works. It works.
Yeah.
I have you in the corner of my
We'll
screen.
we'll probably just
Are we
ask.
good to start now?
Yes. We'll just ask for like the like a picture of your PNG tuber and the ballet twins thing. If we could, like, we'll just like have that like a picture, and then we'll like crop it into the actual like YouTube podcast side. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Pull my Fugi in as an OBS element.
Yeah, I have you on.
Yeah, I have you. On the
Oh,
screen.
really?
Yeah.
I hold up. Let's wait. Hold up. Wait, that's genius. Give me a sec.
It's like you can actually drag and drop the links in the Fugi dashboard and just go
Okay.
straight to OBS as a browser source. And drop the links.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like one of you taught me that.
It
Pretty
definitely
sure.
wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
My
All right,
I-
well,
I-
somebody else who was smarter than me at this kind
Yeah.
of stuff taught me that. I don't know who it
Let me
was,
get in the
but
Fuji real quick.
yay. Let's start. I want a lore.
Yeah, I also want a lore.
We do. All right, get us started real quick.
Okay.
Age
Yeah,
and
well,
Yeah, yeah.
one
Just
second.
start with the introductions.
1 second. How do I? Okay, sorry. I need to ban someone real quick. All right.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Why am I having stage fright? Anyways. All right, welcome in everyone to the 5th episode of the Proxy podcast. We're finally ready to get started. And yeah, so this is a podcast where Josh, Azriel, and I host bi-weekly.
Yeah.
We host it regularly where we explore all things on the zzzero, gacha, and video game related. And yeah, today we have a special guest on with us, Ashikai, who is the lore master. Ashikai, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Ashikai, I do lore content and theory content for Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero.
The goat, as
Literally.
commonly
It's fun.
referred to.
I'm here for my education lesson today.
Yeah.
Since
Oh boy.
I need
Hopefully
to
fun.
know the details.
You just
But
finished it,
yes.
right?
Yeah, I literally just finished it a few minutes before
Yeah, I thought
this
so.
podcast was supposed to start.
My bad.
Because-
We're still doing
Butter
introductions.
beer.
I got ahead of myself. You can keep going with the introductions. My bad.
Oh no, here, introduce yourself. Go.
I'm Azro Vanity. I stream on YouTube and Twitch. I do Zenless lore and other games, maybe eventually at some point, but mainly Zenless.
All right. Next up, Josh.
Hey folks, it's your boy Josh. I'll be honest. We have two more dedicated lore content creators here. I'll be honest. What do I do? I kind of do a little of everything around ZZZ. I don't do the biggest lore stuff. I don't even do the biggest combat theory craft and stuff. I'm a little bit of everywhere. Hi,
Jack
folks.
of all trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades. Yeah. Gooner, variety streamer. Yeah, we'll take those. We'll take those titles. Yep.
Yeah, and then I guess speaking of Gunnar variety streamers, I'm AgeEKK. Lovely to meet you all. I also am a bit of a Gunnar. I can't believe I'm introducing myself like that now. But also listen. I have to embrace who I am. But yeah, I post lots of gacha-centric content. My main games at the moment are Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Reverse 1999. Post singing covers on YouTube sometimes related to the gacha games, and yeah, I like to react to story, but I'm definitely not as much of a I guess lore analyzer, and okay, that was so bad. I'm definitely not as educated on the lore matters as an Ashikai, so I'm here for my lesson on the lore, and I'm ready to study.
Yes, we'll teach you.
This just means that your brain is healthy.
Yeah, true.
No, I love coming to your lore videos though, both of you.
The
to
lore
learn
rot
all the
hasn't
different
got
stuff.
you yet.
Yeah, yet.
It needs to set in. Maybe it will
Wait.
after today's podcast.
Uh-oh.
But yeah. So today we're going to be talking mostly about the newest patch, 1.6. I think everyone has completed the story as of
Yes.
right now. I believe so.
Yes,
There's
main
lots of story.
story, and
Lots
also
of
I think
story.
we've also all completed the NB agent mission as well.
Mhm. I believe so. And then there's also some lore from the events and stuff too, but we can talk about that a bit later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just overall, first to start it off, overall thoughts on the patch. Like, not going to story details, but how do you guys feel about playing the patch? How does it feel compared to some of the previous ones? Did you like it? Didn't like it?
Ashka, you go
Thoughts?
first. You're the guest.
Oh, well. I like the story. I thought it was a little clumsy.
Mm. Interesting.
Understandable.
In what way?
I'm pretty sure like this is the first time we've actually heard everyone just talk about the Exaltist.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Like
it
that just
is.
kind of popped out of nowhere. I kind of feel like I don't want to put the blame on the devs for this because I really think that a lot of the clumsiness in terms of like introducing new concepts and story beats has to do with the fact that TV mode is now gone
Yeah.
and they're
Well,
still transitioning because like you write and stuff all this kind of stuff like way in advance, you know, and so I feel like when you have to start scrapping huge chunks of it, um there's a lot that gets overlooked. So I don't really want to throw that on the devs, but it's one of those things that's like
yeah.
that's
Hmm. Okay.
yeah.
I
Understandable.
absolutely agree. I ranted about it when I was doing my playthrough. Because when the first couple times they said it, I thought it was fine because it was like, okay, the only time that they've really mentioned Exaltus was when the siblings would bring it up. And so it made sense in
Hmm.
my mind because like, sure, they know the Exaltus, that's fine. But it
Mhm.
slowly started like creeping up on me, like getting slightly annoyed whenever Zhu Yuan and Miyabi and the others started talking about the Exaltist as if it's like everyone just knows about the Exaltist. And I literally sat there for a second and I was like, okay, so is this just common knowledge? Like, do the civilians, like, obviously I know who the Exaltists are, but it took down a point in my review of this story because if someone does not follow the lore to a like unbelievably high degree, they probably have no idea who the Exaltists even are. Especially because the only time they've referred to the Exaltist in game beforehand, it was from a mistranslation, I guess, from what people are saying now.
Mhm.
And they were called the Order before. And it was from an event
Oh
that's
yeah.
not even in the game anymore. That was live for
Yep.
like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I couldn't ask my
Okay.
chat how it affected them because a lot of my chat, you know, watches my content and knows who the Exaltists are, like, you know, through me. But I'm interested in Age's chat. And also, Age, did you know who the Exaltists are, or are you confused?
See, actually, because in my head, the Exaltus, I just kind of saw them as the Order slash the cult. Like in my like as someone who is playing it like pretty casually, right? Not going too deep into the lore. Because at the end of 1.4, they kind of brought the idea of that cult like organization maybe being behind all of these things, like involving Sarah and all of these other members. So until you mentioned it just now, I actually did not even think about the fact that they called it something different in this patch. I just kind of assumed they were the same organization.
Yeah.
Even though, and
See,
if it's like you said that they didn't even bring up the name until that one event, which I'm actually pretty sure I didn't play
Mhm.
the event where they brought it up. So now I'm wondering, how did I know?
The lore
And how did I
teaser.
kind of just
The Exaltist Overseer.
yeah.
The sword
I
mask.
put it
That's
in a
the only
couple of
other
videos
time.
too, and I'm sure
Oh,
Razzie has as well.
yeah, that too. Yeah. You may have
But
run it through
the
those.
other thing is, I'm so steeped in like the deep lore that sometimes I don't remember if I only know of something because I like tracked it down
Mhm.
and if it like actually hasn't been in the main story. Like sometimes I just don't remember
Yeah.
and I just expected, oh,
Mm.
this is common knowledge. I'm like, wait a minute. Because I went into that and like for the first like 30 minutes of the quest, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, not like the first, the first chunk of the quest, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. The Exaltus, that makes sense. And then I started being like, wait a second. Did this ever actually get mentioned?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I hallucinated that. And then I went back and I kind of like checked through my notes and I'm like, yeah, I hallucinated that.
Yeah. It's crazy because I mean like
Yeah.
if you look for it it makes sense. And it's the same it's the
Yeah.
same situation of everyone was super surprised that the MCs had eye implants at the end of 1.4 when it was very
Mhm.
obvious. Like and not saying that like you should have known, I guess. My bad. I'm not like roasting you. They didn't know. But like they had so many hints that you could pick up on. But I guess if you weren't like super paying attention, then that could, you know, just like fly over your head. And so it's
Mhm.
very similar with the Exaltus. But before we go too deep into like that whole side of things, um, back on the, I guess, more originally on the initial question that you asked, which was like how it felt to play. I think it was good. I think there was a little bit too much, and actually, someone said this in Ashikai's server as well, and I agreed with it. I felt like there's a little bit too much hand holding during the puzzle thing, like where we had the keypad, because there was no
yeah.
like we didn't actually have to go find evidence. I mean, they led you to it directly and then had Lycon repeat it like 3 times. So there wasn't like,
and then they just flash it right before you actually click into the control panel. I think I'm like,
but yeah, and then there's obviously that one little like puzzle that you towards the end of the story where you just do like a little rotating like movement to collect the key at the end to like fix the circuit or whatever.
Oh.
And
Fill in
I
the-
was
fill in
like,
the squares,
yeah,
right?
I was like,
Yeah.
this is a great replacement for TV mode. I was like, awesome. But yeah, so Josh, how did you feel about the story, and also your opinion on the Exaltists?
man, I kind of have to agree with Age in the sense that, like, I'll be honest, I kind of just went with the flow a little bit. Like, I wasn't too, I didn't pay too much attention to that portion specifically. And when you two, sorry, I'm pointing in different directions here. When you know, Az and Ashikai, you both bring it up. I'm like, okay, yeah, that is a very, very big point, like, you know, in terms of the continuity of it all, right? But for me, as a little bit more of a casual player who just follows the main story generally, I'm like, yeah, they did mention this cult order, the Exaltus, and then now I'm like, okay, yeah, they kind of mentioned it too much. I'm like, that doesn't break my immersion a little bit. Another point I do want to bring up, and I'm not too sure if this is going to be mentioned, but when we talk about Vivien in particular, take this little tangent here. When you know, I'll save it for later.
Okay.
I'll save it for later. We'll get to that conversation a little later.
Okay.
I because it's like that point that I wanted to make just now happens much later towards the end of the story quest. So we'll kind of go in order here. But as far as my overarching thoughts on the story, I definitely enjoyed the storytelling of it. I did not enjoy the puzzles, the combat. It was very subpar. And I understand why a lot of people, especially in my chat, felt relatively disengaged.
Mhm.
A lot more so than they did with the other previous stories. Especially since this one was much longer.
This
but
one was
that
very
was
long.
a product. Yeah, it was a product of having to include that much more story, less focus on the actual you actually playing.
Yeah, I don't
actual
have a
story quest,
problem with that. I think just because I mean, anyone who like
Hmm.
plays Star Rail or HI3, like you don't really get that much combat in your story anyway. But when you said that are you talking about like the lines, like the story lines, the voice lines that take 7,000 years to play through when you're walking through a stage?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
weird.
and there were moments where you
Yeah.
can't actually click through some of the voice lines, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I can't click, guys. We just gotta listen to some of these voice lines.
Yeah, they need to. I put that in my review, like since they started adding it in. What was it? I think it was 1.4 is when they started it, or 1.5 maybe.
I'm
But-
pretty sure it was 1.5.
yeah.
This last update.
It legitimately felt slower than last update. Like, I don't know how that happened, but they need to speed that up. I'm not opposed to it. I'm used to having to like read and listen to like voice lines during combat and stuff, like from HI3. But I don't want to like. I literally shimmy. Like I spam A and D and W. I literally
Same.
do like a little jig with my character to like slow down my progress so I can make sure that I hear all the voice lines, which I feel like shouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, I think it was really good. I did like the pacing of the story, and I did like the
I did
actual
too, yeah.
content of
Mhm.
the story as well. I still think the writing for this patch was really, really good, besides that Exaltus thing. And I guess to touch on that Exaltus thing, one more thing. I told chat, I actually think that it still would have made sense that they're bringing it up now, like without fully explaining what the Exaltists fully are. because
Mhm.
technically the Exaltists haven't been in the story, so none of the characters have had to like talk about it until now. But the reason
Okay.
why I was so confused on why they hadn't brought it up before, but now they're acting like everyone knows, was specifically because of the interaction with Ray after the Arpeggio Fault. Because I felt like Ray should absolutely be
Mm.
someone, if it's like common knowledge, who knows about the Exaltists. And at the end of the
Yep.
Arpeggio Fault, you find a letter that was written by the Exaltists, and she's like, I don't know what this is. It's a letter by someone, but we gotta look into it. But like, if she
Mm.
knew, it literally the quote says, "May the Creator guide us." So like, she would have known it was the Exaltists if she did know. So like that one Ray interaction in my head was the only reason why I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's some odd continuity things that happen. Like, for example, the Anby stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You're supposed to play Anby's quest technically before the main story, but there's nothing that will tell you that you're supposed to do that.
Nope.
But there's like a
Yeah.
moment where you go to the outer ring where you suddenly see Anby in a new outfit, and it's like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know.
the other thing is too, like Harumasa's quest is actually technically should be played before this, and
Yes.
Lycon's.
Yes.
And like I feel like
Mm.
they should, like
Mm.
before this story starts, put a prompt up that says it is recommended that you complete these 3 quests before going on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I
And
100%
Wait, to
agree.
be fair,
even if
didn't
you
they
can
have
skip
that?
it.
No, they did not.
They
I didn't
they
see
had like
one.
a they,
No.
no like I remember like one of the first prompts from going into the I don't know if it was
I think
going
they're
into
trying
the
to
story
reduce
quest.
friction, and I think they're trying to
Mhm.
do it too much, right? Because like I think like at one point early on, in some of the earlier versions, they would do stuff like that, and now I feel like they're trying to reduce as much friction as possible so that people don't feel like they are obligated to spend even more hours playing through a story, even if they don't want it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
And so they're trying to make things more optional, which is why like Ambi just kind of shows up and she's in a new outfit, and if you haven't played her quest, you won't know why. But it's also
Right.
not super relevant to the main story. You know what I
But at
mean?
the
But
same
like it's
time,
kind of relevant to a subplot, which I think is going to be more
Mhm.
relevant in part B than it was in part A.
Yeah.
So like I kind of get that, but I think it's the same issue with Ray, right? Like that's a continuity error. Cuz like when did you play that? When were you supposed to be playing that quest?
The Arpeggio Fault
Versus
one?
when
Right.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
I don't know,
agree.
there's
I
something
think
that,
they're
and then also
definitely
like,
keep going.
but like even you could even see that with Astra too, right? Because they first introduced her to us in an event that you can't play anymore, and that's where she became
Uh
Right.
friends with us.
oh,
And
is
then
is
like
that one
Mm.
not in the Chronicles? The Snap one?
no,
I don't know, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think
I
it
don't
is.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It got
So
nixed.
like people who weren't there for the for the Snap quest, um, A, don't know who Snap is, so then they're doing the fishing event, like that kind of the interaction there felt a little bit
Yeah.
weird. And then also Astra, when we first meet her, we're just friends already. And that feels
Mm,
weird because we didn't have that whole previous interaction.
yeah,
You know what
that's
I mean?
totally true. I didn't
Yep.
even think about that.
So
Yep.
there's some continuity errors that I think are a result of their the shifts in the way that they're telling the story, right? So I can't really fault them for it as much as I normally would, just because I kind of understand the reason why. I feel like if this kind of thing continues in version 2 plus, then I'm gonna start giving them real shit for it, and I'm still gonna put it in the feedback surveys and everything.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not gonna, like I'm gonna give them a little bit of slack. I'll cut them a little slack for
Yeah, I'm gonna
this.
agree. I think the biggest thing is at least have the events that kind of have that lore significance.
Mhm.
Have it permanent. Like like retroactively add them to the redo chronicles, and then also if they think that someone should play it beforehand, not only should there be like a pop-up before you start the quest. And to answer someone in chat who said they do tell you to do the ambi quest when you meet her, they mention like that you could go and do it, but there's so many instances of them referencing what happened in that agent mission way before that moment. Like the
Yeah.
entire Oregon
I agree.
thing
Yeah.
is
Mm.
because of the Anby mission. So, like, if you
Yeah.
don't play it beforehand, you would just be like, Oregons, confused. And then you finish the main story and then do Anby agent mission. And then you would be like, oh, that's what that was. Now I wish I
Yeah.
paid attention because now I know it has context. But anyway, retroactively add it into the Redo Chronicles. And then we literally have a timeline in the game. Like, we have the main story timeline, the journey tab. It has like the little
I just
images
think
of
that
all the things. Add it
I
in
think
there.
that story timeline should be in a different location.
It is kind
when
of
you're doing
hidden,
quests.
if
Like,
that's what you mean.
yeah, like
Mm.
it just needs a little bit better UI so that it's more front and center, I think. But yeah, like I think that's where the clumsiness comes from me. But like overall, I like the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story
It's
itself
like
was
those
really
little
fun to play
things.
through.
Yeah, I
And
still
the
gave the
character
story like
writing.
I do agree about the puzzles though. The amount of times where I was like you know when we had to hack into the terminals and stuff,
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, why is that not where TV mode goes?
Yeah, a little mini TV version. And I talked to, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm gonna rant about it for like 35 minutes. Anytime I've talked about the TV, it turns into a whole rant. But I get
It just
it.
feels like hacking especially just feels like it's perfect for TV mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hacking is like TV mode is built for hacking.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
well-
Actually, now that we bring it back up, I think it's a perfect transition for like doing the TV mode, because now if we're gonna permanently have one sibling going into the hollow, then you could just say that that's the other sibling using the HDD to like hack in for you, and so then
Right.
you
Right,
like
yeah.
technically do the TV with the
Yeah.
other sibling. So that just, it still makes sense. I still think that they're reiterating on it because they said they're not going to permanently get rid of it in that dev thing. So I think they will re-implement it in some way in the future. But for right now, yeah, it's definitely still out of the picture.
Yeah, because I just feel like the puzzles themselves, like you bring up a really good point, how like if you just have a bit of the TV mode in a not so clunky way, because obviously some of the earlier chapters, it's like you kind of spend so long in the TV mode that for me it did kind of take me out of it, especially in chapter 3, I think, or was it even chapter 3? It was the one where you had to do like the detective
That
kind of mode
was
inside the TV.
that was
I don't remember
actually
exactly.
that
Oh,
was
sorry.
2.5.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, it was with Qing Yi and Xu
Oh,
Yuan.
not sorry. I was like, wait, update 2.5.
Oh.
No, but like chapter 2.5.
Yeah, chapter 2.5.
Yeah, like because I think for that one specifically, I did get a bit annoyed at it because I was like, dude, I'm spending so long here, and the info I'm learning isn't really even satisfying because I'm just like kind of spending so long trying to go
Yeah.
back and forth figuring out things.
Hmm.
But I have said this since they removed it. I really do wish that they didn't remove it completely. I understand a lot of players really disliked it because they found it boring, but I think there's an in between, right? For
Yeah.
how you can implement it. Don't make it as obtrusive to the story. Definitely add in more moments where you're able to run around as the characters and experience, this physical world with the characters. But then, like you said, for the hacking stuff, that's a super, super perfect way. Rather than these puzzles, which you do elsewhere when you're literally just doing dailies or trying to complete random tasks around the world, like the bamboo, the circuits, those things like that. You throw in that random tile completion thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I don't want them to put in puzzles that are too hard, but at the same time, these puzzles themselves feel a bit redundant
Yeah.
for like what's
What you
going on.
mean.
Yeah,
I
especially
love
when it's
that
just like
one hack.
combat puzzle, and it's like
I
it just
freaking
doesn't
love
feel
that.
satisfying.
Do you guys remember that one puzzle that's like, I'm gonna hack into the system, and then it gives you that TV screen and it's like 8 pulses
Oh
that you
yes.
just have to hit the
Oh,
timing. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is out of all of the things to break my immersion, that was the biggest one.
yeah, just the
That was when
rhythm
you're unlocking
dancing
the
of it.
disc,
Yeah.
the USB or the tape with the
Well,
pub
it's
spec
just like
and
this
section 6.
is like so not. It doesn't feel like hacking. Like at least with some of the puzzle ones, like if you're gonna fill in all the squares or do the
Mm.
circuit or whatever. At least those kind of feel like, yeah, I
Mhm.
feel like I'm kind of hacking away at something. But like the pulses, I'm just like,
I
This
will
is not
say right because
You know
you're
what I
right,
mean?
Age. That was when we were hacking the bringer audio file. When they were like,
Yeah.
What if we hack into this?" I was like, "Oh, what if we didn't hack it into it?" I was like, "Let's give it to Rain. Rain will hack it for us." And then it pulled up the prompt for the
Mhm.
rhythm game, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're not gonna have Rain inclusion. I guess we're just
Yeah,
gonna
that
do
was the
this rhythm
thing.
game."
That was like the one thing. And now, but that actually, okay, I wanna, if I can segue for something that's
Sure.
related to this.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Since we now have the ability to have both siblings, and we've got one that kind of runs around in the field, and then one that stays at home with the HDD and Fairy,
Mhm.
like it seems to me like you could theoretically um really integrate both of them together. Like
Yeah.
you said, to be able to swap back and
Mm.
forth between siblings.
Mhm.
And even with EOS, right? Because like you could have one sibling sync with EOS and take EOS with you as the other sibling.
Yeah.
And then if
Mhm.
something else needs to
Yeah.
happen in New Eridu, or you have anyone else, like you can swap back and forth between siblings to do whatever in between,
Hmm.
which I think would be
Mhm.
really cool because it would make good use of both siblings. But also, I was wondering if they had planned to do this at some point,
Like with
or
the
if
siblings.
this was them, like if they had planned to have the whole HDD upgrade so that now their ether, um, you know, aptitude is better so they can go into hollows. Like, I wonder if they intended for that to happen at the start when they started writing, or if that is like their way of writing in the siblings' ability to just go into the hollows now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
wonder how
Mm.
big like, I understand that the eye implants are gonna be
Hmm.
a big thing. They've been
Mhm.
hinting at that for forever. Like, I get that. But I wonder if the whole ether aptitude going into the hollows thing was something that they originally intended, or if they're just using it as a convenience to kind of solve that no TV problem.
I think
Mm.
I think it was always
Oh.
planned. I think it was I think it may have possibly been pushed up from when they originally
Yeah.
planned on it because in
Oh, that's interesting.
my like timeline, I thought that that would happen, but once one of the other AIs were included in the story, I thought that they would probably like the one of the other AIs would somehow upgrade like the HDD and like do something with us.
Oh, I see.
But
Mm.
instead, and like Chad is saying, I don't necessarily think it really felt too shoehorned in. I think they just didn't
No,
give
it didn't.
a
I'm just
like
wondering.
I feel like
Mm.
they didn't give a good example as to what the upgrade was. Cause the mayor was just like, "Yo, we're gonna plug something into the HDD." Like we literally
Yeah.
just upgraded the
Lycon, do it.
GPU of the HDD, and that just like unlocked more powers. But I
Well,
wish he
actually,
went into it
if
a little bit
you
more.
I agree that they should have got into it a little bit more, but Zenless tends to do storytelling in a little bit differently.
Hmm.
So I think we'll sort of unlock more information as we go rather than have it dump at us all at once and give us all the technical details.
Yeah.
Um I think it's actually very interesting their explanation for it from a lore perspective because it implies that the HDD is somehow drawing on um how do I put this?
Our
Like
power.
there's almost like a feedback loop between the HDD and the ether somewhere, right? So like
Mhm.
hold on, let me
I know
Mm.
what
enter
you're
this
saying
sentence. So
because
if EOS is in the hollow and they are in their seat and they are sensory syncing with EOS,
Yeah.
the HDD is the intermediary, right? And if I
Mhm.
think of it
Mhm.
as like if I think of ether as water and the connection between ether the proxy and EOS as water as well. And the HDD is kind of like a water filter, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mm.
there's a certain amount of particulates that are getting through the HDD water filter and then sort of polluting the bodies of the proxies
Uh-huh.
as they go through EOS. But I'm wondering if it actually like has a more detrimental effect because of the eye implants that are directly connected to the brain,
Mm.
because I have this additional theory which I can't 100% prove, but that ether has a strong connection with sentience and thoughts and like just data.
Mhm.
So I wonder if
Ooh. I forget to say
the
after this.
ether itself is almost like in their brain, and that's what brings down their aptitude. So if the HTDs strain or draw on their like it's not allowing as much ether to pass through it and get into their brain, then that's how their ether aptitude rises, because then they can go into the hollows and they have their natural defenses, more like, right?
Yeah.
It's like their brains can detox.
Mhm.
That's a really
Hmm.
convoluted explanation. I'm sure I can think of a better way to lay it out, but that was kind of what I was wondering when I was reading that.
To kind of support that though, this kind of ties into something we learn about Vivien down the line. Sorry, the order of like the lore discussion is kind of going all over the
Yeah,
place.
That's all right.
I
That's
know.
what
It's, yeah,
happened.
it's
Yeah, but hopefully everyone in chat has obviously played all of it and kind of knows what we're talking about. But later in the story, you know, when we talk to Vivien and then learn more about her past, we learn that Vivien is able to basically have these visions of misfortune in the future. And then Vivien, as far as we are aware, is one of the first characters who can actually utilize ether outside of just having a I guess an item that is able to contain it, like Zhu Yuan's guns. And then she is also the first character who has this, in a sense, like a psychic type of power as well, or psychic connection with this information that is somehow fed into her brain. So to kind of
Oh,
top
that's
off
true.
Ashikai, your theory, yeah, like if ether does act kind of function as this form of giving or transferring information, especially with how the proxies and their interactions with EOS and then the whole system work, then this could like completely change our understanding of, I guess, exactly what the hollows are, what the ethereals are,
Mhm.
what makes them up. And oh wait, there was something else I want to say, but I can't remember. But as you look like you have to say,
yeah.
you
I
want
was
to
gonna
say
say I
something.
was just gonna
Okay.
interject. Vivien technically isn't the first. It was Astra. Because Astra does actively
Mm.
like manipulate ether just with music and like her singing.
Mhm.
But I think it's something very similar that Vivien is doing. I think they are both manipulating ether energy. It's just Vivien
Mhm.
is doing it in a way that she doesn't realize. And I think it's
Mm.
going to link into the past that she said that she had with the Exaltists. Because if the Exaltists are known to like continuously experiment with like ether usage and stuff. But I think, you know, ether and hollows are known to, or at least hollows are said to distort space time, like time as well, which you know ether
The visions.
includes in the hollow. So I do think that she is somehow basically peering into the ether to like look at the
Mhm.
future, and that's how she's getting those sort of
Really.
like visions. But as
Mm.
to exactly how she's doing that, I don't know, besides like I just said, that I think it might tie into the Exaltists in some way, whatever her past is with them.
Mm.
It's interesting in that context to think about Harumasa too,
Yeah.
with his slow descent into you know,
Becoming an
ethereal hood.
yeah,
Mhm.
ethereal hood.
Well, because the Exaltists appear to be trying to make this sort of symbiotic relationship between humans and ethereals happen. They seem to want to um, you know,
Fuse
make
the two.
humans into a super species. Like ethereals can't, like ethereals have incredible power, but they can't exist outside the hollows. So if
Mhm.
they can get the sacrifice to exist outside the hollow, which it can,
Yeah.
um, then like essentially what they're trying to do is like make humans who can leverage the power of an ethereal in or out of a hollow.
And
Mhm.
also like manipulate them mayhaps.
Yeah,
Because
I
in Anby's
remember.
Yeah.
story quest,
Oh, sorry, keep going.
oh,
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's part of it.
because yeah, like in Anby's story quest, right? At one point, you know, when we first, before we meet Twiggy for the first time, Anby mentions that the ethereals are acting in the exact way that one of her, like, the people from her past would strategize and carry out missions. And then we later learn that Twiggy kind of was manipulating those ethereals in a sense, whether she was doing it by just like, you know, like sending them, by luring them towards Anby to make them fight her, or whether she actually had some sort of form or some method to like control them more directly is I'm not too sure about. But I do like that did make me start thinking about what one of the motivations behind, you know, the Exaltists and these Sarah and company and what they're trying to do. Because obviously at the end, you know, with Bringer, they have this serum that that they were testing on Bringer, and then it was clearly, you know, trying to fuse human and ethereal matter together to create this kind of super being. So then it makes me wonder if they're trying to like perfect humanity in a sense, kind of like Age of Ultron style, you know, humans, in order for them to evolve and survive in this world, they need to basically kind of like be wiped and then recreated,
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, the creator bring us. And, or if they also want to, in a sense, maybe utilize ether and the ethereals as a way to just gain power and use them as this sort of unkillable army as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to go into exactly what like the Exaltists' real plan is, like besides just Age of Hollows, right? Also to answer somebody's question, they who said, or someone's comment, they said Twiggy could have trained them before converting them. I think if we're being honest, I think it could have still been after, because she's still one of the only ethereals that we've seen actually speak. Because she talked at the
Was
end.
Twiggy an ethereal?
Yeah.
At the end,
At
yeah.
the
When
end.
at the end of the
Oh, at
The-
the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because when she did the injection thing, she was like she's only the second like ethereal that we've seen speak. The only other one is Bringer. So I think
Do you
like
think it has
if
anything to do?
oh sorry, keep going.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask. Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that she only injected half into her? Because then the other girl, the one who was called like A,
Yeah, girl A.
because halfway through Twiggy's injection, she grabbed it and then injected the other half in her, right? And then they had their whole like kind of like merging, like bonding.
No, I don't
thingy.
think so, because she was still a full ethereal. Like she was still acting like an ethereal. And we've never seen that. Besides Bringer. But I think it's something to do with the specialty of the syringe. See, this is a great question because we were talking about this in chat. It is so Twiggy's a sacrifice. I don't know if I want to classify it because the thing is, it's kind of hard to determine what they want to count as the sacrifice, if I'm being honest, because the first thing that is actively being called a sacrifice in this story, right? We're going after the sacrifice core, which is from the ethereal that we killed in chapter 2, right? But in the actual compendium, the machine is not labeled a sacrifice. The only enemy that is actively labeled as a sacrifice enemy in the game is Bringer.
Okay.
But clearly, it's still a sacrifice. So, because they call it a sacrifice, it's the sacrifice core. So I don't really know if I haven't decided yet if I want to classify Twiggy as a sort of sacrifice yet or not. But the syringe thing that she used is interesting because it was given from the
I think she is
the doctor.
because like you said, the sacrifice has a very unique core. So even if she transforms into an ethereal, I mean, you could make the same argument for Haramasa, right? Like if he starts turning into ethereal, is he a sacrifice? Because he did it based off of, you know, years of injected medications and other experiments, or like
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think those are other experiments that can produce ethereals with unique traits,
capabilities.
but I definitely don't think that they are considered sacrifices, if only because they don't have that unique core, and they don't seem to have the same. How do I put this? Has had to go into a cocoon.
Oh, the core? Like this one specifically?
Oh.
Well, no, I mean, there's multiple sacrifices right now out there that we haven't
Yes.
fought yet, but they're in cocoons all around the city, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last time anyone saw this sacrifice, the one that we got the core of, was
Mhm.
like 10 years prior.
Right.
So, who's to say that it wasn't in a cocoon either prior to being trapped in the monument, or who's to say it wasn't in a cocoon while it was in the monument? Who's to say that, you know, um, Horus actually fought the sacrifice and trapped it in there? Who's to
Uh,
say the cocoon wasn't placed there and then he like smashed it and buried it before
So,
it could wake up?
question: are you saying that the only thing that like should be like a sacrifice is if it needs the sacrifice core?
Let me put it this way. Not every goat goes up for slaughter,
Okay.
right? So sacrifice in Chinese is actually referred to as like a what do they call it? Like almost like literally a sacrificial lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a livestock something. Oh, it's livestock something. I forget. Forget what the actual term is. But the point is that they're quite literally trying to make it a sacrificial goat
Uh-huh.
or a sacrificial lamb, right? And because of that, I think the purpose of the sacrifice is more important than its features, which kind of goes a little bit against of what I was saying before, but they were trying to use it to refine a very special formula. But like if you think about them all being around the city and like what they may have been trying to do with those sacrifices in cocoons, like those are just experiments that they are quote sacrificing
Uh-huh.
in order to make their new reality come true, right? Like there's a level to this. I feel like Bringer was unique in that they were trying to refine a serum. And so
mhm.
he's
Mhm.
like the final sacrifice in the process of that.
Uh-huh.
But the other sacrifices, they don't have the same level of sentience. They don't talk. They don't have that same thing. The only thing that's unique about them is that they can exist outside the hollow,
Yeah.
really.
I won't
Other than that, they're just like other ethereals.
I won't
So I
classify
wonder
that
if they're
just yet
considered like
though,
livestock.
just because we've only seen one other sacrifice besides Bringer. Because like we've seen the two, like Bringer and that one, but like I need to see another one. I need to see the sacrifice wake up from the cocoon so that I have
Yeah.
another like data point to like connect what's the difference between that one and what isn't. Because it is interesting the way, because also that first sacrifice wasn't able to, not only did it not have like sentience, but it wasn't able to summon the creator's hand or anything like that. So yeah. Sorry, there was one
Be
chat that I
some
was
sort of level to it. But I'm also just certain that whatever they're gonna call a sacrifice, they're probably gonna try and keep it to the ones that have a very unique core, probably because it's gonna be a part of the same experiment, right? To
Okay. Yeah.
make these transhumans. And by transhuman, I'm talking about like in the sense of like a transhumanist, not.
yeah.
Get transformed human.
Yeah, I felt like that needed clarification.
um yeah,
No, yeah, because
so
I mean, oh, sorry.
oh no, you go. You go.
Oh no, because I just wanted to, obviously I don't have like the most knowledge about the sacrifices and what they are exactly, but for me, like when I was playing the story, right, Bringer felt like a very specifically unique sacrifice, and also because he had the whole boss fight, he's the only person who's called Sacrifice Bringer, and obviously he was able to keep his sentience. But also like the way that he formed. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because my memory is a bit rusty. But did he have like a cocoon phase during the story before he turned into like the god created being?
Okay, ether crystal wise, like the one that we saw in this story, no. But if you
Mhm,
want to count the hand rising up and then him like blooming out of the hand,
mhm,
then that could count, I guess.
Mhm.
It
But
was a lot
not
faster of a metamorphosis, but
right,
he still had
yeah.
a metamorphosis
Yeah,
phase, I guess.
He did have a little like
yeah,
transformation, yeah.
yeah, but I guess like for me, it really felt like when they were bringing up the sacrifice in the 1.6 story, I was kind of confused the entire time because they were saying that, oh, there's so many sacrifices around the city, right? In all of these different hollows, in these cocoons, there's like 12, and that's only the ones that we know of. So that in my head, I was like, wait, so are all of these sacrifices going to be on the same level as Bringer? Because I feel like after witnessing the way
Oh
Bringer
yeah,
turned into a
yeah.
sacrifice, right?
Mhm.
It was really different from these sacrifices that have just been stagnant for so long and just
It's
existing inside these
funny.
cocoons. So they felt
Okay,
really
so
different.
I think that's kind of a bit of a failure on the part of the devs for not making the differences clear.
Mm.
But if I may add some of my own brand of logic, which may or may not be valid, we'll find out here
No,
in a
go for
second.
it. We're here to
Um,
discuss.
the way I see it, the locations that we got were from Bringer's notebook, which
Mhm.
meant that the sacrifices in question were placed before Bringer turned, because
Mm.
Bringer would have had to write those things in his notebook. So they have to be an older type of sacrifice,
Yeah.
Mm.
which means that their purpose is like the other thing too is that they're unguarded, right? And something of Bringer's importance, I feel like would have been guarded or been more like a headquarters sort of thing or something, because like
Mm.
he's so much more advanced than the previous one.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of looking at the sacrifice that they had, the one in the monument, right, as sort of like um uh
That's saying
the
like an older
zombies.
model.
Well, I'm kind of thinking of them as like zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they just have them caged up at these different locations, and then they're going to unleash them on the public at some point. And what I think they're going to try to do, and I think they might manage it, uh, is I think they're going to unleash them all over the city, and people are going to freak out because there are ethereals outside the hollows. And I think it's important
Mm.
that those ethereals don't talk, because ethereals don't talk.
Right.
And I think that the exaltists are going to come up, and I think they're in tops. I think they're going to come
Yeah.
up and they're going to be like, look, the ethereal threat is real. They're coming out of the hollows. Nowhere is safe. We have a solution. And they're going to start offering a quote
Ah.
unquote vaccine,
Yeah.
Create the
so
problem,
to
create
speak.
the solution.
Yeah, I
Sell
can
the
see
Correct.
it.
solution.
I can see it happening.
Correct.
That does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a little bit why there's like the organ harvesting. I think that's a little bit of why we've got the um I think that's why they're perfecting the serum on Bringer. I think that's why they're doing a lot of things. I think they're doing multiple strains of this ethereal causing serum. Um, and I think they may find a way to make it have a delayed reaction
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
where they can start testing their products on mass market and maybe having it delay so that a lot more people participate before anyone gets wise to what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly answer one of the questions. Tops was not created by Sunbringer. Marcel Group was created by Sunbringer, which is kind of assumed to be in Tops, but she didn't create. Tops isn't one company. Tops is a bunch of companies. Like not just
Coalition
one.
of companies,
Yeah.
basically. They're like creating a pseudo government, so to speak.
Right. Which is why they referenced them fighting the literal government this patch. Like they keep saying that the actual Mayflower like government is not friendly with them, with Tops behind the scenes. I was gonna say, did we want to talk about the organ thing, like the whole
Oh
organ
yeah.
subplot? Because a lot of people seem to be either confused on what the purpose of that was, because technically it's shut down already. They said that Hartman said that in the story, like they're not really doing anything with the organs anymore. The organ thing was apparently, to Hartman, was just charity work to get closer to Edmund. But since that got shut down, they then followed up with the new life insurance thing, which the chat mentions to me. This leads into the Sienna stuff that we saw, with Vivien, where she got her first vision, and then Sienna allowed herself to die in the hollow. But do you remember what one of the because first of all, let me make it clear, Edmund is in bed with the Exaltists, and so is Edmund. Or sorry, Edmund and Hartman. Okay, two different people. Edmund and Hartman, they're both in bed with the Exaltists. Hartman
look
wants to
weirdly
get
similar.
closer. Yeah, but Edmund has the forehead
Yeah.
crystal, so
But they
that's
look
how
so
that's how you
similar.
know the
Like when I
difference.
saw the CG, yeah.
Yeah, the little image. Yeah, but Hartman wants to get as close to Edmund as possible. So because the organ thing failed, he then started the life insurance thing. Now back to what I said. Do you remember what one of the qualities of the life insurance thing was for them to get the payout?
Ethereal. You have to die to like
High
some
ether
etheric.
aptitude.
The corpse had to
Yeah.
be affected by ether, which means that
Oh, so they might take the corpses and
they're
then-
actively collecting corrupted corpses. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, was it that, or was it that they just had to
Uh,
get corrupted by, or they just
The-
had to have higher ether aptitude?
They have to have some sort of ether corruption on their body, which is why we had to wait a little bit before we took her body out of the hollow. Because her body had to start having
Oh,
some sort of corruption, and then they were like, okay,
I read
let's take
that
the body out.
differently.
Yeah. So
I read that differently, but I think yours makes more sense because I thought it was she lied about her ether aptitude so that she could go into a hollow and have a reasonable death. Like they couldn't determine cause of death because ether corruption is basically written off as cause of death.
yeah.
Oh, and chat's
I can
saying
see
that
it.
they had to have a higher
Well, that makes more
aptitude to
sense.
begin with to get the insurance as well.
Which is it's
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it's both right, but I missed half of this.
Yeah, I didn't remember the higher aptitude part. I thought it was just that they had to be like corrupted from it, but
That's why discussions are good. We remember things. Different
yes,
things.
exactly. Sorry, what was I gonna say? I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, but I just think it's interesting that now
Experimenting?
the because like the internet post with the organs, right, was the charity work.
Mhm.
Like the ones are like,
Mhm.
oh, I got like an organ, like whatever. That was Hartman doing like the charity work for it. I do still think that they were collecting organs for themselves, not just the charity thing, because assuming they need flesh, like human DNA, for the sacrifice stuff, because there was human
Yeah.
male DNA
Oh,
like
oh, wait.
found in with the sacrifice thing. It's the easiest way to get a mass amount of human flesh without being noticed by taking people off the street. Like it would be much more secure to keep it down low.
On
from
the
that.
organ thing though, I actually there was something. Oh my god, sorry. I just finished the story, so everything is kind of like a melting pot in my brain.
Yeah.
But one thing I do remember seeing was because when Twiggy was mentioning the organs, right? The way I kind of interpreted it was from her perspective, it sounded like she was basically selling the organs to people for money, right? To fund her project,
Mhm.
which she was trying to complete. And then later, when I played the main story, at one point, there was like a mention of people in tops or like people who are higher up. I don't know who said it. It was either like Hugo or Hartman or someone, but they did say that when they were talking about the illegal activities, he mentioned that there were like a lot of people who were higher up or in like like the whether they were in tops or just like super rich who were super interested in buying that organ business. So then that made me think that, yeah, like people in tops had a purpose for wanting to collect organs, whether it was because it was a really like messed up hobby or because they were, like you said, collecting organs to, experiment on or do whatever their nefarious schemes are. So at least I kind of felt like it was a direct connection implying that they did have a purpose for the organs that wasn't just Hartman trying to like do whatever with Twiggy because
Mm.
the project itself, he mentioned that it got shut down, right? And there was a disappointment.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't think he would just do it for the sake of wanting to like do charity or whatever because in my head maybe it's just like the way that I see organ harvesting
Yeah.
and donoing in the real world. It doesn't feel like something that is necessarily okay. If I'm trying to improve my reputation and do charity, I'm going to start an organ donating business. It felt more like something that he was doing on the down low that might have also benefited people who are also kind of doing these shady things in the tops or organizations that he was involved in.
Mhm.
And so then like that's why when he mentioned the charity stuff, I actually thought it was something completely different. I thought when he was talking about like, oh, I need to do more charity work to try to, you know, improve my reputation, I just assumed it was like off screen. That was to showcase that his reputation with Tops is deteriorating, so he's trying to do all of these things in front of the camera, trying to just prove that like, oh look, our family's reputation, we're not actually that bad, we're just trying to like donate to charity or whatever to do these good things.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, whenever to confirm it, Chad is saying that it was Hugo during the raffle thing that mentioned that there were rich collectors that were like going after the organs. But yeah, when he was saying that he was doing it for charity, he did directly mention that he was doing the organ thing as a charity thing to try to get closer to Edmund. But so I do think that that's still tied in. I do agree with what you're saying, that they clearly were doing it for more. And then also, yeah, what Chad is saying. So they were not going, if it was the Exaltist, right? Like the doctor that saved Twiggy and then asked her to start doing the cloning stuff. Yes, they are going after an abundance of like the flesh. They weren't going after the cloning tech like itself. They just wanted to use that to get more organs. I was actually really surprised that they didn't go the path that I thought they were going to go. I originally thought that the Exaltists wanted the cloning tech to create a bunch of the Enby clones, and then they were going to use Geppetto to turn all of those clones into ethereals and then like control them that way. Especially with the way that they like showed the trailer for the update. But unfortunately, Geppetto was not included at all. Because another thing is, there was a line in the trailer that I thought was going to be directly into this main story, which was Enby screaming, "The sacrifice is about to wake up," which never happened. That line is not in the game. That's in either the agent mission or the main story. So I don't know why that line was in the trailer, unless it's in part B. But even if it is in part B, I don't know. Maybe in Triggers, but Triggers is a backstory of when we first met.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's it. I don't know. I just think it's weird that it was in part B. Like if it was in part B, why that would be in a trailer here. But that I just thought that was like what they were doing with it. But yeah. Did any other topics on this organ thing, or can I segue to another topic?
Well, those are kind of my thoughts on the organ thing.
Josh, I was gonna say we barely let you talk. Do you have anything to say?
Here's the thing. You know, this episode, I'm taking a very, very nice backseat. I'm taking a very nice backseat because, you know, especially when it comes to like the organ lore, like I'm like, yeah, I kind of knew like the tip of the iceberg, but like now having Ashikai here to like have this like back and forth to be able to like, you know, dissect that iceberg, kind of break down into it a little bit more. I'm just like, yeah, this is really, really cool, you know? And I'll be honest, I don't know too much about that particular lore. And, you know, when we move into a few bits of parts about the rest of, you know, let's say like Hugo's past and stuff like that, I'm not too sure which segue you want to move into next, but I'm kind of just chilling for now.
You did in fact do the exact segue. Hugo, that handsome hot ass man. What are our thoughts on Hugo and Hugo's story?
And the Zone Zero's auto.
Yeah, for real. I said that when they did the flashback and they showed his father, because his father had the hair like right over the shoulder, and I was like, oh my god. It's like, is that auto? But yeah.
It's not auto, but like it's Zenless's take on him for sure.
Probably a reference for sure.
Yeah, it's probably it's
Real
like
quick,
it's a nice little
break
nod.
it down for us.
But he's just as morally questionable.
Yeah, it's
Like,
more of
the
like the
thing
morally
about-
questionable thing. That's like the
Let's call it the auto archetype.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it the auto archetype because that's kind of really what it is more than anything else. The auto archetype is someone who's actually like very clever, very talented, almost to their own detriment, and who gets taken in by a family that either turns abusive or neglectful, and then they end up doing really horrible, questionable things with really good intentions, or at least like really relatable intentions at the very least. That is the Otto archetype to me.
Yeah.
All the
Which he
boxes.
The
fits.
radicalized
Hugo
Yeah,
ideals.
which he fits.
Radicalized ideals.
Which is the funny part. I just think that's funny. But I don't know where I thought they were gonna go with this character. I thought they might give us someone who was more playful, more carefree, and maybe more I thought we'd get someone who was a bit more of a contrast to Lycon's straight-laced,
Mm.
uppity nature,
Uh-huh.
you know? Uh, the hippie in the square. Kind of how I thought that was gonna go down. And ended up being more of a moralistic debate where both
Yeah.
of them are equally
Yeah.
unhinged in very different ways.
Yeah.
Which I'm still here for. It just wasn't quite where I thought they were going with it, but I like it.
I really, really
It
love the
worked out.
dynamic between him and Lycon. Like,
Same.
again, like you said, they should have had a prompt to like play Lycon's agent story first, because then you get a little bit of like backstory of what
Context.
their dynamic like should be. But seeing that, like having that context for so long since day one, like since the launch of the game, and then finally being able to see them like interact again. And the first like fights like sequence that they had, oh my god, it was
Oh, that
it was
was
so
so
good. I love how Hugo is written. Mushroom, I cannot give you attention right now. I'm so sorry. I love the way Hugo is written, and I do. Obviously, we're not done with Hugo. I think we can all agree Hugo's clearly not
Oh,
dead.
he's not dead.
Yeah.
He was.
He's not dead.
Yeah, he was literally
He's
announced.
gonna be here
as
for at least
playable.
one more patch.
Yeah, exactly.
At least one more patch.
Okay, so maybe this is a good question. Well, actually, you know what? I'll save my question. I'll let you keep going on the train
I
of
think
thought you
I
have
think
it.
I know what your question was gonna be. But
Let's see. Let's see if you know what my question's gonna be.
were we gonna ask what our ideas were on how Hugo lived?
No, but
Oh,
not
okay.
completely
Okay.
unrelated.
Okay.
Was it gonna be a question on how we feel about characters permanently dying, maybe? Or the
Nope. I was gonna
consequences?
ask,
Oh,
what do
never
you
mind.
think Hugo's actual plan is?
Oh, okay. I mean,
All agree he's not dead.
yeah.
Then the
Mm.
whole thing is obviously staged, right?
Right.
But the question
Yeah.
is, which parts are staged, which parts are real, and what is he
And what
actually
purpose does it
planning to
serve?
accomplish with his death and his layers of lies?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, because there is an unbelievable amount of like layers to Hugo as a character and what his plan is, because it is literally just lies and deceit over and over and over again. I do think it was planned. It's a great question of what is real and what isn't. The reason why I think it's a lot harder to tell what's real and what isn't in this is due to the fact that there were multiple instances in this story where we played things that happened in the past. Like we played as Hugo
Yep.
and then did things that he had already done, like by the time that we got to certain points in the story. Which means that they're saying there are things happening in the background without you knowing. And then I do want to point out we were the last ones to show up right before the mission, which means that they all could have discussed a plan without us knowing what it is. Because I do still think it's unbelievably uncharacteristic of Anby to have let Hartman go.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
true. Because even if she was paying attention,
He kind of
to
just
all
walked
the
away.
stuff
He
with
kind of just
PROXY,
picked up the
right?
core, picked up the everything and just walked off.
Yeah.
And
It's not even a thing of like I know chat, you're gonna say exactly what my chat was saying, that it's gonna be what Vivien said. They were worried about the proxy. But the thing is, there has only been one person who could sneak up or sneak out like anything from Anby, and that was Rena. And in the art, Hartman was not like off to the side, like not in her vision. He was directly in front of her. Like she was dead ass looking at the man as the sacrifice core fell down. So either Hugo let them know that odds are that's not the real sacrifice core, and they want to let him take it and try to take it to Edmund, and then when Edmund realizes it's a false core, he'll punish Hartman. But the reason why it's like, okay, well, why would he do that when he wants to go after Hartman himself? The only other thing that I could think of is that he's trying to kill two birds with one stone right now. Because if he does that, then technically Hartman is still going to get punished. And with how I think he's going to live, it's going to let him keep his promise to Vivien. I do think it's really interesting that they mentioned Hugo's promise to Vivien on the rooftop, like right before all of this happened, which was the fact that he was going to look into the Exaltists. Ashikai, did you read what my idea was in your server when I posted it?
No.
Okay,
What
so
was it?
I think that they intentionally made it very, very clear during the Bringer audio that he had fatal wounds and then was contacted by the creator and was healed and walked out of the hollow unscathed. I do think Hugo's plan was to take a fatal wound and fall into the hollow, and then will be reached out by the creator and can basically infiltrate the Exaltist that way, and then get info for Vivien on what the Exaltists are doing, while also still getting information about what Topps wants because they're in bed with the Exaltists. So that would save him from his wound, let him complete Vivien's promise, and the only thing they have like listed directly as a god in this game is the creator. They referenced him as a god. Right before we did that, Hugo had his little interaction with us where he talked about the story of like at the beginning, how it was children of the devils. And then he was like, but I found another one. They were actually children of the gods.
The gods.
So like if he's now trying to become like a child of the god, then like I think that would be super sick. My only worry is, does he have the mental fortitude to not like lose track of his goal with whatever the creator does? Because Bringer was like immediately, I don't want to say brainwashed, but like he was immediately head over heels. So Hugo would have to have some sort of idea as to not like completely get converted.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sorry. When you said that, my mind was completely blown. Because when I was thinking of ways in which Hugo would have survived that, because obviously I'm so certain he's going to beat it in 1.7, which means he has to survive somehow, right? So I was also thinking how, because before we've seen when people jump off of cliffs in Zenless Zone Zero, fissures open up, okay? They always open up. It's very convenient. So I assumed that he was going to fall into a fissure, and then that it would also get tied back to how from Bringer's audio that we listened to before, yes, he got immediately healed and then joined the cult. I did not make the connection that he could have been doing that on purpose to connect with the creator himself. Because another thing too, right, that was very significant about this story, I feel, was the way that they presented the kind of last act of it. They very deliberately split up they split up the characters into 3 groups, right? So you mentioned that if this was a plan that was planned beforehand, and yes, at the beginning we could have shown up. I feel like for me, the way I kind of interpret it is I feel like Vivien's feelings throughout the entire thing felt really genuine. Like she felt genuinely betrayed, really hurt. So I feel like if anything, Vivien might not have been in on the plan.
Yeah, I don't think she was either.
Yeah, but then the thing is, right, you have the PROXY and Vivien, who are 2 characters who were together when they were doing their own, to find their own like console. And then you had Anby, who was by herself, and then you also had Hugo and Lycon, who were together. And then the fact that they were all split up, because they mentioned that, you know, Vivien and PROXY showed up first. We finished our task first when Vivien mentioned that, oh yeah, because we're just such a good duo. So, you know, we finished first and we were waiting here for everyone else, right? What's to say that maybe Anby or Lycon and Hugo, because they spent so much time separate, they could have possibly met up and then discussed Hugo's plan, especially given how they were kind of showcasing the Lycon Hugo dynamic so much and how they kept bickering. One of my chatters mentioned after I finished it that, yeah, they did spend a lot of time together, and then Lycon specifically said, oh, I did stab through his heart.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit suspicious, right? For him to confirm so blatantly that yeah, okay, he's dead. He's dead when we as a player clearly know that he's not. And I feel like unless Lycon was just really determined that he killed him, which obviously is not necessarily the case if he's going to survive in the future story.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely a possibility that throughout the split perspective area, there's a lot of room for them to set up things that we did not see, especially given the way that they narrated the story this patch as a whole, where, like you said, we kind of go between the present and the past, and then we learn things later. And even just as a like story writer, it is a very subtle way to imply to the player that, okay, you think that you know what's going on. However, I'm going to show you that there are things behind the scenes that are not as they appear.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're going to like kind of trick you into thinking something here when you clearly know something is up, right? They
Yeah.
even said that at the end that, oh, it seems like Hugo has a plan, but like we don't know what, but he's supposed to be dead, right? So how is he supposed to enact his plan if he's dead? But then when we're bringing it back to the whole, bringer creator thing, it's just I found it really interesting how they decided to show us the split perspective. Even though when playing the split perspective, it was, obviously with the puzzles and then the combat and stuff, it did feel a little disjointed because we kind of just go do the same thing from 3 perspectives with, slightly different dynamic. Especially with Anbi's, right? Anbi's, we literally just go fight some monsters and then we go back to a different perspective, right? So what's the point of splitting up Anbi from everyone, but having her still be involved with this story?
Yeah.
And then also at the end, like you said, have her kind of uncharacteristically miss the fact that Hartman was able to escape with the core. And also, who's to say that the core that got dropped was the real core, right? It is just a
Yeah,
crystal.
I
It
don't
looks
I
like a
don't think
crystal.
I don't think
It
that
could
was
have
the
been
real
fake.
core.
It could have been
Yeah.
replaced.
Which I think that the whole core thing is going to tie into the necklace that Vivien gave us. Because when Vivien gave us the necklace, right before that, Hugo mentioned he has the core. And then he was like, but I'm not going to like do anything unless you agree to work with us. The moment we agree to work with him, Vivien then gives us the necklace. And then I think directly after that, we go into the situation where Hugo's like, oh, I've already hidden, like when he was talking with Hartman, he's like, I hid the sacrifice core. The only one, like the only person who knows where it is me. But like, I think that probably is like with the necklace thing. But I don't know. But there was a couple things in
Wait,
chat
sorry, can I say
about.
one thing before?
Yes,
Can I say
go.
one thing before you continue? In the end scene, because I literally just played it, Hugo he tells Vivien and implies that Vivien pickpocketed that core that we see at the end from him.
Yeah.
Because he says give it back, doesn't he?
Why would she do that?
Yep.
So at that point, yeah, like firstly, it's because I felt like it was implied that, oh my god, so Vivien, even though she felt so betrayed, her instincts and her, I guess, competency still caused her to be like, okay, if Hugo is really so far off the deep end, I need to prevent him from doing this by stealing the core from him, using the methods that he has taught me. So then at the end, when Hugo says, "Oh, you should give me back the core because I've caught onto your methods," I thought it was like, well, a really kind of wholesome but tragic moment because he taught her so much in Mockingbird, and then it kind of like came to a head with their conflict. But then now that you mentioned Vivien's necklace as well, because they do also very specifically say in the description of the necklace
that it's
that
hollow.
the necklace is hollow.
Yeah.
So then in my head, I was like, okay, it kind of seems like a capsule for something. What's
Yeah.
inside the capsule? Why are you randomly giving us a necklace? Especially given in Anbi's story. This could be completely unrelated, but you know how Nekomata gives Anbi the doll,
And there's a
we
camera in
think that
it.
it's just supposed to be the wholesome thing, and then Nekomata was actually using it to monitor Anbi because she wanted to keep an eye on her and make sure that she didn't go missing again. I just feel like there's so many parallels that they have to be significant, right? If they're writing this story, and Anbi's story and the main story for this quest are very clearly meant to be understood alongside each other, there is no way. Well, firstly, that necklace, for even just as an item, obviously has significance. They haven't told us its significance yet. We know that throughout this entire story, the main thing that we are trying to follow is that core. And then at the end, you know, we just happen to drop it on the ground. Is it even the real core? We have a necklace here. It's like there's just so many things. It has to.
It kind
has
of
to add
ties.
up
Another
eventually.
option
So
is yeah, go.
one other thing
Mhm.
about the auto archetype is that he's quite fond of magic tricks,
Oh,
which means sleight of hand.
Yeah,
yeah. And with his coins, right? He's using his coins so
he
much
does use the
to
coins a lot
Yeah, he's
too.
very adept with his
distract.
coins. Very
I
adept with those coins. But I 100% believe that that core is not real. And in fact, I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if he actually gave it like the real one to Anby. And that's why
Oh,
Anby didn't
yeah,
go after
that's why
anybody.
she let it go. Yeah, because it's not
Mhm.
just the fact that like she let him go, because he was actively the one who did the stuff with Twiggy, right? Like he was the one. Like she knows that. He even mentioned it.
Yeah.
He mentioned like
Mhm.
she knows who that guy is. So
But
why would she let him go
here's the thing.
unless she was in on a
There's
plan?
2 reasons why she would let him go. One is if he's not the source of the problem. If he's
Mhm.
just an agent of the problem, right?
Uh-huh.
Like he could
right.
be a high-ranking official, but he might not be the boss. So
Right.
she might be someone who's just like, you know what? I need to take out the boss. So I can't take out this guy yet. I need to figure out who his boss is. So he has to live.
Mm.
But, you know, Ambi does have that cold, calculated sort of mentality.
Yeah.
So I think that's perfectly within her, you know, within character for her,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So I want to, if I can, you know how the Exaltists abducted Carol?
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So you know how they were talking about Hugo's talking about the movie with the children of the devils, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
didn't think about Creator refine me as the children of the or of gods or anything. I actually thought about him asking for that movie as it pertained to Faithin because it's children of the devil
Yeah.
or devils.
Yeah.
And that would be Carol, who has been accused of doing a bad thing. And then he turns around and goes, hey, it's actually children of the gods. So if you think about it, he could
Faith
be
and revive
referring
me.
to the
To
fact that
us.
Carol is either the god or is working with the god or
Yeah.
that Carol isn't a devil. So I think
Oh.
that's something to keep in mind.
Yes, and I do have that kept in mind because I have multiple like ideas of how it's gonna go, and I said it in your server too. I did think that originally he was talking about the siblings in that situation, which that if he was talking about us and like us being the children of the gods, it matches Vivien's like I don't know the way that they did Vivien's thing with the sibling and the wings but that art just in general
Icarus.
that art was so peak like it was so
Mhm.
beautifully done and so yeah I can absolutely see it going that way too like 100%.
Could be a double entendre because they really love to do that. Also, um, speaking of, you know how that whole thing about Billy buying the wrong or like a busted air intake ended up being like a plot point
Yeah,
when we were rescuing Rain?
yeah. For
I've been
hold on because I think I just give you the airship when
Ah.
when Perlman opened up the case and everyone like passed out
Mhm.
except Billy because he bought an air take thing off the
Oh,
black
yeah.
market and that like saved him.
Yeah, it was just like mentioned in random in passing, and everyone's just passing it off as a comedic moment. It ended up being like actually a critical piece of information.
Right.
Um, so I have been sitting here wondering about why Hugo was talking about him being hypoglycemic and therefore not a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
'Cause there's 2 things about vampires, right? One, they're often associated with wine because they're supposed to be like elegant. They drink blood from a wine glass, if not straight from the neck, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And also, you know, you drink wine in place of blood when you do, you know, the blood and body of Christ kind of thing, right? More
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
ritualistic sort of thing. So wine and blood tend to be pretty similar. Um, wine is fairly high in sugar, and he keeps saying that he's hypoglycemic.
Oh, but he drank the wine with Hartman.
Yeah.
He drank wine with Hartman, And I'm
True.
also thinking about, well, one of the detriments to hypoglycemia is it can make you really dizzy, it can make you pass out, and those are similar sorts of symptoms to blood loss. And
Mhm.
also, vampires are undead.
Uh-huh.
So if there are no vampires in New Eridu, maybe there are just no vampires in New Eridu yet. Because if you're right and he wants to take a near fatal wound and then see if someone will heal him, which is a huge gamble,
Yeah.
You turn into.
it would make him an undead at that point.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So he
Ah.
would literally be a vampire at that point, except for actually drinking blood.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Also, the way that they
Oh,
I
describe
don't
the
know if
blood
that's
too,
how they're
or
gonna
the
do
wine.
it. I don't know if that's how they're gonna do it or anything, but like it's just the fact that some of these really random things stick out at me just
Mhm.
because of the way that they sort of frame them, and that's one of them. And I don't know if that's the way it's gonna play out, but I think it's gonna
I
be important somehow, and I
Yeah.
don't know why or how.
I do think that Zenless Zero is very deliberate in the way they describe things a lot of the time. Like you said, that intake thing, it just seemed like a one-off goofy moment, but then it turned out to be really significant. And then they were very specific in the way they described the liquid he was drinking with Hartman. I At the time I kind of thought it was just, okay, are they teasing that, oh, is he a vampire? Is he not? Is he drinking wine or is he not?
Mhm.
Kind of thing. That I was maybe fan service. But mentioning the hypoglycemia and then, the relationship with blood or sorry, sugar, wine and all these things, and then also him supposedly, like you said, dying from blood loss at the end too. There's too many threads that I can't connect them. I don't have the brain power to connect them. But I think,
I don't
like,
really
for
know
your
what
points
to
that you
think
guys are
of it
bringing up,
either.
yeah, it's just I
But it's
think
like there
oh,
just the way that they do this, there's a little bit of a niggling in the back of my brain that's like, this is relevant. It's vibe-based relevancy, but it's
it
relevancy.
has to be.
Mhm. I'm just curious as how, Hugo, why he'd be taking this huge gamble because it's not really confirmed, right?
Mhm.
How Bringer was quote unquote chosen to be saved by, you know, saved in the hollow there. So that's I guess that kind of segues into like what we would expect in story part B. What is that bridging story point of how Hugo gets saved and how he gets turned into, a revived, you know, maybe, it becomes a pseudo sacrifice or something, XYZ. So very, yeah. I mean
Yeah, I mean,
that's
one of the questions I wanted to ask, because I haven't played the arpeggio or like the new game mode with the new boss yet, but obviously we know the boss's mechanic is that it's an ethereal that kind of can puppeteer other ethereals, right?
Mhm.
Oh, have you played the new event yet? Do you know the lore stuff for it, Ashikai? I know Az has,
Yep,
but okay.
I did.
Do you think
Figured
that
I'm
that
just
will
gonna do
be
I'm gonna spend a whole day just doing Zenless stuff, so I just did everything.
nice, nice. But yeah, I
May
wanted
as
to ask, do
well.
you think that maybe there is any significance in them releasing that boss with this patch specifically, and maybe how that could possibly tie into the future of the story in part B? Because like in terms of Nineveh, right? Nineveh
No.
obviously has been a boss for like very long, but how relevant are these like side bosses to the main story, I guess is my question
They
for the
will
most part.
be majorly relevant, but I think right now what they're setting the Lost Void up for is stuff
Mm,
down the line. Which I'll let
Yeah,
Ashikai go into
I
this a
agree
little
with that.
bit, but the
No,
stuff that
you
we
can go ahead.
saw.
I think we're on the same page.
Okay, yeah, the stuff that we got from this Lost Void was actually really huge, like in the grand scheme of things, but it didn't necessarily connect in with what the main story was, like at
mhm.
all.
Yeah.
Besides the fact,
Okay,
are you okay if I like mention something in
yeah,
it? Okay,
I'm fine with
chat.
it.
I'm gonna mention something from Lost Void, so if you don't want to hear it, just mute for a second.
I mean, this whole hour and a
This whole
half
episode-
conversation, we've talked so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
already.
You know what? Wait.
Um,
Before we continue, this is for you, Josh. When you edit this later, a huge disclaimer to anyone listening to this podcast is that
I'll put this
in
in the
this podcast-
beginning.
yeah.
In the podcast, this particular episode, we will be talking about lore and story and spoilers for, let's just say, the entirety of the 1.6 patch, including the main story, Lost Void, all of the lore tidbits. So that is your spoiler warning. If you guys haven't played it yet and want to play it yourself, then we recommend you go play it and then come back and listen to our theorizing.
Perfect.
For me, Lost
Okay,
Void,
okay.
before you get into it, for me, Lost Void, in my experience, and half of everybody's experience, is that we just go in the Lost Void, we log in, get our Z merits, and then, you know, do the lawnmower thing with Cord, and then we laugh, and then we're out of there.
Yeah.
So, like, if you could preface, like, where was this particular piece of lore that you're going to get into? Like, where could we find it, or how do we find it? And then,
Yeah, so
go
whenever
from there.
you go to the Lost Void, there's 3, or I think now there's 4 tabs that are there, but there is one that's directly listed as story. And there are like direct Lost Void story things that you can go through. Originally, when Lost Void first came out, it was with Ray going in and kind of behind the back of the White Star Institute, hacking into their database and getting information on ethereals because she wanted to do research. That is where she first started getting information about Geppetto. And then we started doing like our own little like research into what Geppetto is. And at the end of that, she kind of got a slap on the wrist. She had to write a report because the White Star Institute saw that she like went into data that she shouldn't have. But in the original Lost Void, there were a couple of huge lore mentions. One being that in the Lost Void, there is energy that is representative of the Dark Wall. And Miyabi said that she can no longer participate in the investigation because anything regarding the Dark Wall needs to be reported to the Void Hunters. So she then left the investigation there. So we know that there's something with the Dark Wall in the Lost Void, which is huge. And then another huge thing during that first part is that Ray mentioned that all the data about the original Void Hunters was completely locked. She was not allowed to go through anything of the original Void Hunters. And in this one, we again go into the Lost Void and we go a little bit deeper, and this time we actually get to fight Geppetto. But during the after we like defeat Geppetto, or no, it's right before we fight Geppetto, actually, I think. A voice from high up in the White Star Institute contacts Ray, and we have like a little conversation. And basically we learn that now the White Star Institute knows that we are like one of the, what's the child of the guilty, children of the guilty,
The
whatever.
sinners?
They know we were with Helios. And they, instead of being like, hey, you need to like stop everything, they're like, don't go super far, like stop going, like don't go further than right here, and we'll give you information you want to know. But first of all, just know that we respect you. I want to say, like, it was very specific that they said that they know, like, they're like, we just found out who you are. We want you to know that we respect you, and here's some information. And then gives us a quote saying, Ashikai, if you can remember exactly what the quote is,
No.
I do want to preface, it wasn't just her saying it. The person that's talking is saying it from a quote, like from someone else. But the quote itself is basically, what if these higher ethereals, or not what if, the higher up ethereals are made by people. Meaning symbiotic ethereals, Nineveh, Geppetto, Lerna, they're made by people. They were not a normal, like, hollow ethereal upgrade. They were like people experimented. They were created by man. And
Damn humans.
I know, damn humans. But yeah, anyway, the Dark Wall is mentioned again, but they say that we're gonna put it on hold, which really, really hurt my heart. I really want to know what the fuck the Dark Wall is, like really, really bad. So I'm hoping we go into that in like the next Lost Void thing. But yeah, so you can see now the White Star Institute like knows who we are. And everything that they gave us, it's very, very lore heavy. Like it will be very important to the lore. It's just not really directly tied into like what this stuff is. And then
Okay.
Ashikai, if you have anything else to add.
Yeah, this kind of feels like tangential storytelling to me,
Oh,
in the
my
sense
camera
of like
froze.
I feel like there's like a core issue that we're working towards, and then we're coming at it from like a left angle, and then the Lost
Mhm.
Void sort of comes at it from the right angle, and at some point those two lines are going to converge,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
but we only know that it's like a vague convergence points um around these evolutions of ethereals. Like that's kind of the concept that we're sort of converging around of. Like what led to them, when did they pop up, all that kind of stuff. And we're sort of seeing it from the perspective of the researchers at the institutes and the defense force and all that other kind of stuff. And then we're also seeing it from like the civilian side of things, which is the faith inside.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
The that so like they'll cross over eventually. So I do agree that like there's a reason why they release them like this. But I don't think Geppetto has anything to do with um this exact storyline. I do think there is logic to be had if you look at Nineveh starting as like sort of a hive, so to speak,
Mm.
like a symbiotic
Mm-hmm.
ethereal, which is unusual, and then moving to a forced symbiotic ethereal, almost like a
Oh.
parasitic ethereal, right? Like so we went so Nineveh has all of these little things that swarm around her. She's basically like a queen bee with a lot of other little bees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Geppetto is almost like a parasite. And I keep thinking about like cordyceps
Yeah.
because
Mm.
those kind of plant themselves in the brains of ants and hornets and things like that and can pilot those. But fungi also form these really powerful networks. And the cordyceps that
Mhm.
get plant themselves inside of these insects don't technically do that. But um I think about the strings and I think about the mycelial networks and I'm just kind of like I'm looking at the difference between like a parasite that's you know, taking advantage of external bodies versus a
Mhm.
hive, which is sort of like, you know,
A system
working in
within itself.
harmony with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're two different ideas, but they're two different iterations of a similar thing. Lots of little things sort of working together to become a bigger thing.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
can I
Oh,
kind of touch on that?
Yeah.
you don't
Be-
need my
Never.
permission.
No.
No,
Leave
how
it be.
dare you speak,
Freak!
peasant!
I disintegrate. Ah! I was thinking about it all day at work because I literally just played the Lost Void yesterday.
Mm.
And I do want to make it clear that while Geppetto is like the puppet, if you do notice when you defeat Geppetto, there's strings attached to Geppetto. So
Yeah.
Geppetto is also, they also
Oh.
say
Oh,
he
I
was
guess
the
I
puppet
didn't say that,
master who
did I?
has turned into the puppet of the Hollow. And with her kind of like whoever this White Star Institute person is, insinuating that the those symbiotic ethereals were created by like people. I was thinking, what if it was their experiment to try and create the it kind of goes in with what we were talking about with Haramasa, Ashkai, how like Haramasa originally we were thinking was like the antithesis of the sacrifice, uh
Mhm.
like the opposite side. And then I think they were trying to do that but with the creator. Like they're kind of like they were trying to create their own sort of creator to fight the creator in the grand scheme of things. But they couldn't control each symbiotic ethereal. Every time that they tried to make one, they just like couldn't control it.
Here's a
Mm.
question
Yeah.
along that line. Do you think the creator is human?
Yeah, I don't know. I see this is something I've always thought about, but I don't know. I can never confirm or deny. Cuz the thing is uh the creator is extremely ancient, right? But we know.
Or
Do I?
well, he's either ancient or there's time warpy shenanigans.
Or there's time warpy shenanigans. That is also an option. That is true. That
that this
is
is an
true.
option.
I know. I also hate that this is an option because every single time people are like, the Void Hunters are going to be playable. I'm like, no. And then like, but time travel. And I'm like, okay. I guess.
Valid. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Because again, yeah, time shenanigans is a thing. We see in Miyabi's like demo all of her ancestors like also fighting the hand, right? Like they're actively, like each descendant of the Hoshimi family has like gone against it. Well, not each one because apparently it skips, but you know what I mean. Don't catch me on a technicality. Like I'm trying to. Okay, what was my original idea? We know that ethereals were not originally there when Hollow started, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, as in we
No,
don't know that, or
maybe.
no, as in.
I mean, if we knew that, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Oh.
we did know that. It's in that interview that I sent you where they talked about how hollows were the aftermath of a war. They
Yeah, but that doesn't
also
mean ethereals weren't there.
no. They mention ethereals were like an evolution of the hollows. They say that when hollows
Yeah.
first started, ethereals weren't a thing.
No, but that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, 'cause think about what an ethereal is for a second.
No. I get it. I'm not disagreeing with you because it does need like sentient life to happen.
No, it doesn't.
Organic
doesn't.
life to become
No, it just
corrupted.
needs enough ether.
Oh,
But
my
not
camera froze again.
everything is something that's been corrupted, though. Because you can have just etheric matter, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
If you can have etheric matter, you could theoretically make an entire life form that's just purely ether. It just needs enough time to kind of coagulate together to like form something.
Right.
Intelligent
Right.
constructs can be corrupted too, is what chat's saying.
Yeah,
but that's
like,
with.
So this is kind of what I'm getting at, though. See, the way I see it, the fact that we're calling it void, the fact that we're calling it ether, if you look at what the source material for the hollows is actually based off of, it's
Mhm.
based. I'm pretty sure it's based off of the Kongdong. I'm
Okay.
gonna say that wrong. Hold on, I'll bring it up. I'll tell you why I add. Oh, Kunlun is also known as not Kunlun, not Kunlun. Shoot. I'm gonna find it. Oops. Oh
God,
dear.
While you
I
find
have
it,
to
do you
go into
mind
a
if
different way. I'm gonna keep going on this. Okay.
Okay.
It's based off of this this sort of primordial beast, which is sort of like a primordial chaos that begins the beginning of time, which basically just means that the hollows in general and ether in general is supposed to be something like sort of like source material. And source material in a way is just data.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, if you were to explode something into all of its little atomic bits, but also keep those bits contained within something like a bubble, then those bits would eventually reform into something.
Okay.
Right?
And then that's kind of like what the hollows are. They're like
That's
the bubble
kind
that
of how
contains
I
the bits.
see hollows. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter if the sentient life or whatever is an AI or if it's organic life. I think organic life is easier to corrupt because it's less stable because it's always in flux.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sentient life forms have a harder time processing data that comes into their brains or whatever their processing modules are.
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff. So if you think about ether and you go in there and there's no organic life in there, I think ethereals can still form. I think it's just easier for them to form around something else, like a scaffolding. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys do any like chocolate work or sugar work or anything like that. You probably don't.
No.
No, but I know what you're about to say because I like watching cooking videos.
Well, so one of the most important things in sugar work is to make sure that when you're melting the sugar, that you always brush down the sides of the pan. And the reason is you can't have any sort of crystal inside the liquid sugar, or else the sugar will begin to crystallize because the crystal sort of serves as a seed
Okay.
of sorts. And that seed will allow for scaffolding for all of these other little sugar molecules to like build onto, and that's how you get like really gritty frostings and chocolates and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So if you've ever had like caramel, even that's not like super milky smooth, it's been like a little sandy or gritty. That's because they didn't wipe down the sides of the pan and they've left all those crystals there. So I think of organic matter going into a hollow as like a seed crystal. And it's a lot easier for the random ether data to sort of like, attach itself and then build on and then like sort of get in and alter the structure of things. Whereas otherwise it's more like by random chance that it would sort of naturally form.
Okay. Yeah, I fuck with that. So
That's kind of how I was seeing the initial thing. And that's why I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, well obviously there wouldn't have been ethers or ethereals in the beginning,
right,
but I
because it
don't
needed time.
necessarily think that there were hollows and then ethereals were made from the hollows by like an external force. I think they were a natural evolution of the hollow because over time data will naturally begin to order itself into something a little bit more, you know,
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Orderable from
So then are you saying I
structured.
have two questions
a
actually.
long
So the
segue.
first one is saying so you think that the creator is not a corrupted human?
Say that.
No. So you do think it's what's your idea on the creator? Because now that you say that, like if there is a chance that like it had just had enough time to kind of like collect. I'm not saying that the ether itself gains sentience, but you know how we can read ether data?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I always say it wrong. Milanoe? How do you actually say it?
Melanoe.
Illinois.
Is it?
Yeah.
I keep getting I
Yeah.
keep getting told no. Like that's not the anyway, whatever. In that, we read ether data. Like we're able to restore some of the like land by correcting the data inside of the ether. So if we can do that, then what's to say that like super advanced, like either that's been sitting there for so long, since we're going into the whole data thing, that they can like read our data.
Okay. So there's a few different schools of thought here, and I don't really know which one I think is more probable, but I'll give you a couple of possibilities. So we know the hollows were created via a war.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that the god is just someone who survived inside of a hollow, either through a freak accident or through intentional manipulation of their own body,
Mm-hmm.
and that they are a human that's been augmented over time. But
Mhm.
it's also equally possible that it is Helios himself.
You mean
Oh.
Professor Arke?
I don't know
Oh.
why I always call him Helios. Yes, Professor Arke.
Yeah.
Professor Arke. Yeah. Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
That Professor
Arke.
Arke is like. Are you saying that Professor Arke is potentially the creator? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that is a possibility. But I also wondered if, the hollows being made from a war, if there was someone who was trying to achieve a status of a god, by blowing up pieces of the world and then seeing if they could rearrange the bits to shape the world in their image. I wonder then if the reason the White Star Institute respects the Helios Institute is because they may have been trying to fight fire with fire. So if there's a god out there, perhaps they need something at a god level to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if symbiotes were like a way of them trying to figure out how to um, either build their own god, kind of like a
Okay.
Build-A-Bear studio,
Uh-huh.
through different methodologies. And if they could eventually like find a way to, in Geppetto's case, right, control the god that's in there, maybe through the hollow itself. But
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean, no
so
matter how
kind of
I
similar to what
slice
I
it,
was
like
saying
none of
before.
the things like, yeah, none of the things like truly make sense though.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you really sit down and think about them, like either we don't have enough information for it, or like I just don't get the motivation.
Yeah, because I think, well,
Mm.
it doesn't really tie into the second half of what you were saying there, because the second half of what you were saying ties into what I was saying, that they were trying to, the symbiotic heroes are them trying to create their own god to like, counteract like the creator.
Yeah.
But the first half, that's assuming that they knew that hollows were gonna like, or I guess what was the we're kind of assuming that they had a really, really good understanding of what ether energy could do, because obviously I'm assuming they use ether weapons, right? I'm thinking like when they say that like literally the old civilization fell because of this war,
So
I'm thinking
okay.
ether like nukes. But like how
Yeah,
far
actually,
was their intelligence, because it goes with radiation, right? Ether is very much like radiation, so it fits with like nuclear weapons. But what was their knowledge, the extent of their knowledge on ether? If that was what they were trying to do, was to blow up parts of the world and restructure it, did they really know how to do that? Because I feel, I mean, I guess
No, I'm saying that's kind of what. So I was thinking that the god in question would have been a scientist who looked at this technology and been like, "You're all dumb. This is not how this technology should be used. You could rebuild an entire world with this. Why would you use it as a weapon?"
Oh, okay.
Um, that was more what I was going for. I don't think I conveyed that very well.
I see what you're saying.
There's someone in my server who is very, very, very much into this theory that um, hollows were created by pursuing faster than light technology.
Okay.
Oh.
And I find that interesting for a lot of reasons, but mostly because, like, in the Hoyo verse, when we talk about light based energy, we're usually talking about some sort of, um, you know, physical energy that makes up the world.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like a primordial chaotic force
Mm.
that sort of counterbalances it. So when I look at it that way, I'm just kind of like, this kind of makes sense to me. But if you assume faster than light technology could have been like some sort of laser cannon, or even just like a method of movement, creating portals in which you could pop in and out, or even just trap people in, that kind of stuff, by
Mhm.
accelerating something to its state where it's faster.
Oh, I think you cut
Especially
off.
if you think of it as, like you said, atomic bombs,
Yeah.
because I lost my train of thought. It's gone. It's no more. It
It's no
doesn't
more.
exist anymore. There was something about atomic bombs that I latched onto, and now I've completely forgotten what it was. Oh, right. The atomic bomb is you could think of it as like them trying to blitz something down to its like actual atomic structure, right?
Mm.
So if you were to build an atomic bomb, you're trying to work with forces that interact on a smaller and smaller and smaller level. Like if you build a regular bomb, it's like blowing up regular things, and what actually causes the damage is like the heat energy release, but also just a lot of shrapnel,
Yeah.
which is like just big shards of whatever happens to be around. So it's breaking things apart, and then atomic bombs kind of do that on a much
On a deeper
more
level.
atomic level, a
Yeah.
smaller level. But if you can go even smaller than an atom, would you end up with something like an etheric bomb?
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like, could you blow up something so badly that it's like you even ruined its atomic structure?
Okay.
and
Huh.
left it with nothing but data. Like that was more the thought process, and I thought it might work with like if someone was investigating faster than light technology, ended up stumbling on this area of physics.
Well, the faster than light technology
That-
thing is super interesting to me because that is how we restructured stuff in the Milanoe. Like we used light
Right, that's
rays
where
to
I'm going with it.
restructure. Yeah. We
My
actively
thought-
use light rays
I
to
derailed
restructure it.
myself. I derailed myself. Okay, yeah, that's where I was. Yeah, right. It's fine.
Yeah, you're good. I know. There's I know.
Crashed myself in that one. Yeah. No, but that sort of fits in with like Hoyoverse's MO, right? Because light is usually associated with their ordered um physical world, and then the chaotic matter is usually like very much disordered and darkness and that kind of
Mm.
stuff. So it's on brand thematically.
Yeah.
And if I may, I don't know if any of you play Star Rail.
I mean,
Well,
I
well,
have not.
I'm a tourist.
I haven't done the new. I haven't done 3. I haven't played since the banana thing. I haven't done that.
Okay, that's valid.
Okay. There's one thing in Amphorius that drives me crazy,
Mhm.
and that is
Which
that
one
they
is it?
have this and they have this thing that came from beyond the sky and all that kind of stuff called the Black Tide.
Oh yeah.
And
I
it
heard
is
of this.
literally like
yeah.
digital corruption. Like if you look at it, it's literally digital corruption. But
Mhm.
and I would not have connected this to Zenless Zone0 at all. And in fact, I've sort of been told not to. But that's okay. But
Let us
uh
hear it.
some of the monsters that come out of the Black Tide are
Oh.
straight up
Yeah.
Hyperion.
Yeah, they
Yes.
look really
Okay, that's the
similar.
black tide. I didn't know that. I've
And
heard of the black tide, but I
that's
saw
the Black
images
Tide.
of that. Yeah.
And that drives me freaking crazy.
I know.
because
It
the
drove
Black
me
Tide
crazy
is
too.
also dealt with in the exact same way as a hollow is.
Is it
You
really?
can basically you can disperse the Black Tide by defeating all of the monsters that it spawns.
Wow. Hate
But
that.
also, I know, I do too. But also, the Black Tide corrupts things just like a hollow does, and it sort of hollows them out and turns them into those things. And I'm just like, I hate you so much right now.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Again,
Knowing
I
that
am
they said that they
I'm
didn't
not
want to
trying.
connect the two games, and then
They're
everyone in
not.
the
They're not.
community
They're
like
not. They're
wanting to
not.
connect them, and then seeing the ethereal looking at me in Star Rail, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna think it's
Yeah.
connected again.
It's not. They're doing a thematic parallel,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of things that you can learn from the thematic parallels, right?
Yes, that's how a lot of
Even
theories
if you
happen in
don't.
Genshin from HI3.
Yeah. Exactly. So to me, it's that's kind of how I'm also sort of thinking about it, because like, yeah, the Black Tide is basically corrupted data,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it just makes me think of the friggin' It just makes me think of hollows.
I do think I mean, it's not just light rays. I think the ether is very sensitive to, I think, just like energy waves in general. Like that seems to be how a lot of it is manipulated.
just-
Like sound waves, like the music thing, that's
Yep.
that manipulates it as well. We know light rays does it as well. We don't know. What I want to know is how they changed, because we confirmed it. Ashikai, you found the YouTube post. They have not said it in game, but on the goddamn debrief of Bringer, they confirmed that he's actively using a separate, like, modified type of ether, like that red domain
Oh,
expansion he
right.
had. So the Exaltists
Mm.
and them have found a way to sort of either enhance
Forgot about
or
that.
alternate the like course of the ether to act in a different way, which actually kind of I was thinking about it. I need to go back and look exactly how they said it, but during Anby's agent story, I think it was Twiggy who mentioned it. She was like, I could have been a researcher researching the 3 different ways of ether waves or something like that. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I was like, wait, what do you mean by that? I was like, what do you mean
True.
3 different ether waves? I was like, so I don't know what that was insinuating, but we know there is more than just normal ether. There's that normal like purple ether. There's the weird red ether, which by the way, I still think ties into our eyes, right? Ashikai said in the video it was a little energy blast, and everyone was like, "That's lame. Why would you say that?" But it's true. It's true. I'm just saying that if the eyes were actively restricting our normal ether, okay, think about it this way, chat. If it was restricting our normal ether aptitude, why could it not have increased the ether aptitude from whatever that version of ether was? Which is why I think
That's
we did not.
Okay, no, that is a good point. That is a really good point because if our eyes are blue and Bringer's was red,
Oh, I didn't even.
there might be a third type.
Yeah.
You so I'm thinking, I'm wondering if um ether reacts to light, sound, and there has to be a third type of energy wave that it would be susceptible to. And I wonder if we may have like traditional ether resistance,
Mhm.
right? We might have like
Mhm.
traditional ether aptitude, which is sort of like an omni aptitude, but like low
Yeah.
ish.
Mm.
Okay.
But maybe we just have really high blue aptitude, whatever the hell that happens to be, and it counteracts red aptitude.
Yeah.
And she did that
Oh.
specifically so that we would be immune to whatever it is that
That the
the
exaltists are
friggin'
cooking. Right.
exaltists are doing,
And
Mm.
as
that's
like
what
a
I
latched
mentioned.
effort to protect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would be a perfect explanation for why it's a perfect nullification of whatever Bringer did and why he would have recognized what happened so quickly.
Yeah, because he didn't
Gotcha.
question it. Because
Yeah,
he wasn't like, oh,
he knew
well,
immediately.
I guess he did have a little like he did have his eye widened at first, but but besides him being like the eye widening and seeing that they are
Yeah.
alive, he immediately was just like, okay, have fun figuring out who the real villain is, and then disappeared. But like he
I
wasn't
think it's a
like, oh, go.
Sorry to interject because you're gonna go on a different part
Oh
of
no, you're
the
good.
conversation. But do you think it's like a Pokemon like starter element thing, like the purple? Because like we don't have
Well,
any ether aptitude, so then the purple is super effective against the blue. The blue is resistant to red, so the blue is the red, and the red over the purple.
yes.
Uh
Swag.
Oh.
oh
Also, sorry,
wait.
someone in chat put the actual term.
Rock,
They
paper,
said
scissors.
Yeah, it's a
3
rock paper
forms of.
scissors.
Oh yeah. So like I think someone in chat quoted the what she said. 3 forms of etheric manifestation in specific hollows.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
what they
even
said.
still, that still works. Also, someone was talking about, I do want to talk about that.
Oh,
Yes.
it's going on the friggin' moon. I hate this company.
Normally, I know. Someone was when I mentioned the Millinoe thing, people did talk about like it corrupting the land. Yes, but the only reason why that hollow was trying to corrupt the land was because of the irradiant core, which we literally have no information on. That's like that's the only reason why that was trying to turn. It was actively trying to turn the land into an ethereal, but with the 3 different forms of ether or whatever, in the Twiggy mission, is there any other instance where we see pink ether crystals? Because I was confused when we saw it. There's a pillar of pink ether, like bright hot pink ether crystals, and I was like, oh my god, it's pink, and then I just brushed it off. But now that we're talking about the different colors, I'm like, oh, Nineveh, is it pink in Nineveh's domain? They do mention Nineveh has
Maybe.
that special corruption though. So, but still, I don't know how wide Nineveh's thing would be there. But good point. Nineveh is pretty pink. I don't remember the
In
crystals
post
that were
edit,
on it.
I
love
will
it.
find it. In
Yeah,
post edit,
okay,
I will
good point.
find it.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of the different colors. Also, one thing that I saw. Are we done with this topic? Do we want to? Was there any other?
There's more points.
Well,
Oh, sure.
I do have. Well, okay.
No,
I'm
no,
just
you
I'm
can-
thinking about the
if you have one
hollow
more
on the
point.
moon again
Oh yeah. Go for it.
because Genshin recently released
A moon thing.
They did.
something about moons.
Yeah,
I don't really want to get too
moons.
much into it, but they're finally giving us lore about the 3 moons that are supposed to be over Teyvat, right? And
Okay.
one of them is a crimson moon, and the other one is a frost moon, and that is red and blue respectively. And I'm fairly certain that the final moon is called an iridescent moon,
Mhm.
and I don't know what color that would be, but maybe it's a mixture of red and blue. That would sort of be a purple or like a pinkish or even like just straight pink on top, blue on the bottom. And then there's another one which is a new moon. But I'm kind of wondering if one of them might actually be green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because if you do red, blue, green,
Yep.
you would have the 3 primary colors of light.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are saying that in Arpeggio Fault there were also white ether crystals.
There was white ether crystals. Yes, there was. Yeah. The Arpeggio
But white is
Fault.
also. Oh, sorry, just real quick. But white, like in terms of color and stuff, right? White is the basically amalgamation of all colors. Like
Yeah.
that's why when you have crystals, right, you can get a rainbow because. So like the white crystals could be basically the 3 of them in like the 3 types of etheric matter in one, maybe, is what that represents. But I'm just spitballing.
Yes. No, I totally get that. Sorry, I got distracted by the because chat, yeah, you're right. The iridescent or the irradiant, it was or irradiant. The irradiant core was green. You are right. But
There's something about the there's a book invention that talks about like green blood and a moon and that kind of stuff, and I'm just sitting here thinking I think the 3rd moon is green. So I would assume that the 3rd ether point would also be green.
yeah.
I mean, we've seen
But
so
also,
many
the
green
reason
ether
why I
crystals,
was
right?
fixated
we
on that is
have.
because
Sacrifices.
all 3 of those moons are named after different types of songs:
Oh, okay.
aria, a sonnet, and a canon.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just thinking about moons, songs, music of the spheres, which always makes me think of the hollows, even though it's a mathematical thing.
Okay.
But also then music affecting etheric matter and that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And how sound waves can affect the way that you perceive light.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I'm going with that. It's just so,
It's
by the way,
something
the
to
thing I
keep
was
in
thinking about
mind.
earlier,
Yeah.
the thing I was thinking about earlier is called Hoondoon.
Oh, is that was the name that you were trying to find? Okay.
Yeah. It's called Hoondoon. But it also goes by the name of Kong Dong, so I wasn't wrong. But it's primarily known as Hoondoon. Anyway,
So
Yeah.
I had to
what was I
solve
going
that
to talk
mystery. It was
about?
driving me crazy.
Oh, you're good.
Couldn't remember its name.
Oh yeah. But
This
what
is
did
it.
you want to bring up just
That's what
now?
I'm trying to remember.
The segue.
So was the thing that Ching Yi, I earlier in the podcast, I randomly went, oh, because like in my mind that I was like, I literally never thought about this. She was talking when we saw through Ching Yi's vision and there was like something weird in there. Was that the sacrifice core then? Because they had already collected the body.
Ching Yi's vision? Or are you talking about Vivien?
No, Ching Yi. Remember when she looked at the monument and she like had like X-ray vision and she was like, "There's something weird
Oh.
about this," and then she licked it. She like licked the etheric matter, but I don't think we ever saw what she saw, like in the monument. So was that the sacrifice core? Because I don't think we ever got a conclusion on that.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think she was just
Maybe.
looking at the fact that the ether crystals were unusual.
That I think, I mean, that could absolutely be the case because when I remembered in
That's how I
my mind, she had a quote that was like, "There's something in there." And I was like, what? What do you mean? I see nothing. I don't
she
see
licked.
anything in there. And then she licked it. But yeah, anyway, I was just because like normally they don't leave like no threads. Like there's normally been a thread to everything. And then them just randomly being like, "Yo, there's a sacrifice core." I was like, what? How did that get there? But if that was the core, then technically they had it in the story and it makes sense.
Yeah, they could have like tied it back,
Okay.
and they could still be leaving crumbs, right? We still don't have the full picture for exactly everything, so these could all just be different crumbs for the sacrifices. Like they brought it up before when we didn't know it was really a sacrifice, and
Yeah.
then they have Bringer
Wait.
come in, and then now they have telling us that there's like 12 scattered, and there's even more unknown. And wait, Ashikai, wait. Oh,
Who put the robe up for auction?
We don't know. I
That
talked
too,
about this
that
all the
too.
time. I came to the conclusion that I thought
Hold
maybe
on,
Hugo did.
Hold on. I was just about to say, Hugo's an art dealer.
Yes, he has a museum.
He deals with auctions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally
So,
had a
what if
section
it was
when he was
just
in the
never
past.
the real core?
That's what I'm saying.
No, remember?
No,
Wait,
no, but
Oh,
I
okay.
interpreted your thing as saying he swapped it at one point.
Okay, yeah, yes,
But I'm
that
just
is
saying,
another
what
theory.
if it was
Yes,
just never real from the beginning? What if he just
Right.
has like a bunch of things that he's passing around as a fake core, and the real
because
core we've never seen ever?
yes, right. Which because I did talk
Or
about.
maybe there isn't a real core. Who knows?
I mean, that could. Well, no, because the mayor mentioned it. I feel like the mayor would have a little bit more insight than Hugo did. But Hugo, or sorry, the mayor said that it was stolen, right? So but I did talk about chat with it a little bit. I don't remember if like chat came up with this theory or where it got in my head. But yeah, that like, what if Hugo put it up for sale, like the robe up for sale, as like a facade that is the core, and so that was actually never the real thing,
It's bait.
which
It's bait.
means that maybe that's what the necklace Vivien gave us was. Maybe there's something in there.
It's bait.
A red herring. Because also, when
Yeah,
we go
red
back
herring,
in
that's what I was thinking of.
the history part, the part where we're like revisiting what he did before. At one point, it led into obviously him meeting with Hartman. But you know when he talks to his broker person, and then for some reason Hugo was selling a bunch of art and
Yeah.
a bunch of things.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
the guy was like, "Oh, like what's wrong with your business? Like, is it going down?" He was like, "No, I just felt like it."
Yeah, and
I gotta
then
build my reputation, which is exactly what friggin' what's his face was doing.
Hartman.
Hartman.
Pink guy.
Hartman.
Hartman
right?
with the organs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to build his reputation up
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. And also, I didn't mention earlier, but yes, during that thing that you're talking about, age, he mentions, I'm sure they had it highlighted in yellow, which means it was very important. They said, I'm sure they'll be or they'll love to be collaborating with you, like the people that he was selling it to, which means he has a bunch of other people in on something. I tied that to them making the internet posts at the end of the game of them being like, oh my god, I saw a video of him dying, to like throw off like actually like confirm his death.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are definitely a lot of other people that Hugo has brought in that we haven't seen because they highlighted it in yellow. They're excited to be collaborating with you. So there are like a bunch of other parties involved that we just haven't seen yet either.
Okay.
Hugo's about to set the stage for like the most incredibly complex dramatic reveal.
I know.
He is
Which
a drama
fits
queen,
for
so-
exactly. He's a drama queen. He wants to put on a show.
Okay. I have a theory that's unrelated to the plot,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but still related to Hugo.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
So obviously Hugo and Lycon have this conflicting set of ideals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just ideals that conflict. Both of them conflict over what they split up over. Right? Lycon says that they split up because Hugo broke his oath.
Yeah.
And actually, it's very possible that Hugo didn't kill anybody. Just for the record.
I can go into that a little bit actually.
It's very okay, well, you can pick up that thread here in a second. It's very possible Hugo didn't kill anybody and was testing Lycon
Mm-hmm.
because Hugo's basically never had anyone capable of that he could trust, right? Because he's been in a pretty horrific situation, and Lycon was like the one thing. So if he comes in and he sees Hugo in this very compromising situation where it looks like he's very guilty, I sort of feel like in some ways Hugo wanted to test to see, like, will you still believe me?
Yes.
Would you still stand by me as my partner, like, even if the evidence looks really bad, right?
Can I?
And Hugo
Oh,
and
keep going.
Lycon didn't, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of like makes it actually more. I actually really blame Lycon more for this than Hugo, if I'm honest. But the thing is like when Jack was talking to Lycon,
Mm-hmm.
Lycon was basically saying, look, this is what's up with Hugo. You really need to be his leash at some point,
Mhm.
and you're gonna have to tug on that leash if he ever goes too far. And I think Hugo was either listening in on that conversation or knew about it and
Oh.
wanted to see also if Lycon would stop him because he's supposed to. And this time, when we were in this quest, Lycon finally did. And
Mhm.
Hugo smiled the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I think at that moment, Lycon decided to trust Hugo again.
Okay.
And that's why he
Yes.
did it.
Their situation.
I do absolutely fuck with that. Keep going, and I will support this with more evidence.
No, that was kind of like my sort of my my little theory there, because I think Hugo's trying. The reason Hugo even suggested to the proxy, why don't you bring Lycon then if you don't trust me,
Mhm.
is because it's like, no, Lycon's part of my plan. You kind of got to bring him. I need him to not know what's going on, but just to trust the process.
Yeah.
And to be able to invoke the same feelings that Lycon was going through at that time, and then him realize that, oh, I didn't actually do the thing I promised to do. Like, I broke my promise as well.
Because he just left rather than actually
Right. Because he didn't
grabbing
he didn't
and stuff.
he didn't bring Hugo into the police. He didn't, you know, he didn't put the leash on him.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah, he just
restrain him
left.
for what
No,
he
he
didn't
just
reprimand him the
left.
way that Jack told him to. He just
Yeah.
left. He gave up on it. And I kind of feel like Hugo's the one that didn't give up on
Unlike
on their deal.
so
You know?
there is a lot of evidence that goes towards the fact that he did not kill there. One being he clearly lied during the flashback, right, about killing his sister, because there's no way he
Yes.
actually killed his sister. He just took
No, he loved her.
yeah,
The
he
blame
he
for
he
some
took the
reason.
blame. I think his dad killed her, actually, and then he took the blame, and his dad, that's why his dad was so like, that's my boy. That's
Okay.
my boy. But anyway,
That is a very mafia thing to do.
yeah.
Will you take the fall for the boss?
The instance, the flashback,
Loyalty
if
test.
I remember correctly, there was no blood on Hugo. He was sitting around the dead bodies, but there was no blood on him. And if he lied about killing someone before, why would he not lie about killing someone again? And it was not just Lycon and Hugo on that mission. Lycon mentioned that Hugo, quote, used me and the others to get revenge during that mission. So it could have absolutely been the others killed all those people before Lycon got in there, and then he basically used that. Like, it looked bad. Like, there, if Lycon walked in and they were gone, and like he's the one who, it looks like he's the one who killed everyone, then he's immediately like, I'm just gonna test him.
That plays into Andy's story so much, though.
Okay.
I know that's like completely off the wall, but think about it for a second. That totally plays into Ambi's story with Soldier 11 because, you know, Ambi's just like, give her someone to hate.
Yeah.
So that hate has
Oh. And they
She's
very
like,
deliberately
I
did not
can't live my
solve
life
it.
hating people, so let her just hate me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that they left it very open-ended and a little bit unsatisfying from like a player's perspective, right? Because you want them to reconcile. You want Soldier 11 to remember. You
I
want her
don't
to
want them to
forgive her.
reconcile, but
Oh, well, so I think
I like the angst, so it's fine.
no, yeah, I like the angst too, but I think the expected outcome would be that Soldier 11 would remember and that they would like fix the issue, but they leave it very kind of open-ended in the sense that Anby's like, let her hate me, let her not remember anything that transpired because like I feel like this is the best way for her to live so that she doesn't then I guess expend that energy and that hatred towards something worse. Kind of, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I felt what she was saying. And then again, we have seen so many parallels between Anby's story and the main story, right? They're very deliberately making everything so interconnected and
Right.
kind of walking side by side while pushing these two semi-separate storylines.
Mm.
So with the whole Lycon or not Lycon, Hugo testing Lycon, and then like you said in the past, obviously Lycon at that point when he sees this and he's like, bro, I can't believe you've done this. Like, what the heck did you do? And then he leaves rather than actually chaining him up.
Yeah. Choking him, as Jack said.
Yeah,
Um,
choking him.
I also chat did confirm. They said where was it? Can confirm Hugo got no blood on his hands on the stairs cutscene. And then I do also want to bring
Ah.
up, I don't know, I this part I don't remember if he followed up with him actually saying that he killed his dad or not. But Hugo was
He never said it
ranting.
explicitly.
No, I know, not during that. But there was a moment where he was ranting to us. I think it was right before he like apologized to us. During the rant, he said, "I could have easily killed my dad when he was in front of me." So I didn't know if he was talking about that moment or if he was talking about like the flashback when he was a kid. But I didn't make sense to be the flashback when he was a kid because he seemed super weak and
Oh.
powerless there. So
Oh, actually.
yeah, go.
Oh no, because I just played it, so I remember very vividly.
Oh,
what
okay,
happened.
yeah.
Like when I saw that, I thought I didn't even think about the fact that it was like it could have been when he was a kid and then he was his sister died, because I just immediately thought that he was referring to obviously when Lycon found him, and the fact that he was implying, because initially you think that he killed his entire family, including his dad,
Mhm.
because they were evil. So then when he said that, I thought. I remember they explicitly did not state whether he did end up killing the dad or not.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I could have, if I killed him, I could have saved so many more people before they died. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I was very unsure whether or not he killed his dad because they never
Too.
really like stated it, which is why when they got to the very end, when they reveal that Hartman is his uncle, I actually got a little bit confused because I was like, wait, is this his dad?
Well, they mentioned that Hartman also, yeah, because like chat was saying, Hartman killed the rest of the family.
Yeah. So
Mm.
then, because I actually wasn't sure if the dad died because of what Hugo said during that sequence, I got a little bit confused until I went to the next line of dialogue.
Okay, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so I guess my point is that I do not think he ever explicitly stated that he did kill his dad. But it is very heavily implied because of at the end when he's talking to Hartman, he also very heavily implies that he is the one who eliminated the rest of his direct family. But at the same time, Hugo is shown to manipulate the truth the entire story and be very vague about what actually happened and what didn't happen, especially pertaining to his actions and his motivations behind them. So they just very deliberately made it really, really unclear.
Yeah, yeah. Which was definitely
Gotcha.
intentional. Ashikai, did you have anything to add on that?
No.
Okay.
I
There's
just think that Hugo's biggest thing is that he's upset that Lycon didn't believe in him.
yeah. I can see that. Because
Okay.
why why
Mm.
else would he like he knows that he's like upset that he broke the oath or whatever, but like there's so much
I think
passion
that's
for the
why
fact that
being
he's a traitor.
and not asking you to participate too. I
Do
really
I?
do. I think that's why he's being a little shit and not like telling Lycon anything.
Oh, anything about the plan?
'Cause he's petty, he's salty.
Yeah. That's fair.
Because he is acting very
up.
much as much as like the jokes are, he is acting very much like a kind of like a disgruntled ex in a way.
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
doesn't want to tell Lycon directly. He doesn't want to. He keeps poking at him like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you like betrayed me. You betrayed Mockingbird. You left us rather than following the path that we promised." And then obviously Lycon's like, "Bro, you murdered people. That goes against our oath." So then yeah, like you said, it does feel like he is a lot more disgruntled about the fact that Lycon didn't believe him and left than the actual, I guess, conflicting ideals that sit at the root of their conflict.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that obviously the difference in ideals is also very important for why they can't fully get along and why they can't truly understand each other on a I guess, more working together level, since they are so they have these two separate ideas about justice and what can be done, right? And Hugo is very deliberate in how aggressive he is about how much he feels like bad people should die.
Need to die immediately.
They need to die. Like, he is the vigilante archetype between the two of them, and then
Yeah.
Lycon is the system, justice system needs to.
It is literally
decide. You can't-
Daredevil versus
individuals
Punisher.
can't decide. Yeah, that's what everyone was saying when playing it.
We'll argue
But I'm not sure. Oh,
slightly against it. I'll argue slightly against it, if only because I think the real question is whose responsibility is it to dish out justice?
mm,
So in this case, in like the case of the Hollow Raiders, right?
Uh-huh.
Lycon's right. It's not really Hugo's place to dish out justice and to decide what the punishment should be. It should be up to the families of those that they've hurt or killed and that kind of stuff, which is why you bring them into public security. But in the case of you being directly wronged by an individual or whatever, like, should it not be your call what the justice is for wrongs made against you? I understand the logic to that. About not indiscriminately taking a life and realizing that the only way that you can truly make a judgment call on what sort of justice can be enacted within reason is if the justice it actually literally involves you, like the wrongs were against you,
Right.
you know.
Which in this case,
But
for
I get
Hugo, it
that.
was.
Yeah.
It is all in his family. Like, it is actively with him.
I think the thing about Hugo, one of the reasons I think that he was taking the fall for his family being murdered and he didn't do it is because, one, I think much like Soldier 11, with his family dead, there's nowhere really for his hate to go
Mm-hmm.
anymore because they're just gone, and he probably has like a lot of really unresolved stuff to deal with because of that. But also because I think he realized that whatever his family was involved with, there were worse things.
Which
Like,
I'm assuming would be the
much worse
Exaltists.
things. Which is, yeah, what led him to the Exaltus. I really think that part of what he's doing is trying to expose in the most clearest possible way he can the true extent of the rot within the system.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
and in
It's not
tops and
one
stuff.
limb of the tree that's rotten. The whole core of
entire
the tree
thing.
is rotten.
Mhm.
Like, it goes deep, right? Like, you can't see what's beneath the surface. You can't see this whole tree's about to come down. But he's trying to be like, look, I'm doing a core sample, dude. This thing goes all the way through. Right? So I wonder if somebody else, like a whole, not even the other Mockingbirds, but I wonder if like a different team from somewhere else, from Tops maybe, came in and slaughtered his family.
Oh.
And he knows who did it. And the reason he's not saying anything is because if he incriminates anybody else, like, they're also going to be in trouble.
What if it was the Exaltus that did it? Because when
It could
Hugo
be,
when
but-
Hugo finally died, that Exaltus lady said finally, or like like that's another obstacle done. She'll be
Yes.
happy to hear about this.
She'll be happy. She'll be
Yeah.
pleased.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, that's the
Um,
other thing. I think he might have been a loose end. I think they knew, you know, that he was part of the family and all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. I think
He did mention
he was
there's like
on
a
the
secret.
list. Yeah,
Like,
I
the
think he was
family has a
on the
secret.
list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he didn't die, and he's just been evading everybody for years and putting himself in a position where he couldn't easily be taken care of. And now one of the reasons why he's faking his own death is exactly because of that. He needs to be able to put in a position where they can't, where they think he's done. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
or at
So-
least for a
Before he
short
can
period of
get
time.
anything done.
It buys him some time.
I just want to point out, like, Hugo's legitimately one of the best written characters they've done so far. We've literally only had him in one update, and we've been going on threads about Hugo's entire story and ideas for the the majority of the
Yeah,
podcast.
like 5 hours though.
Do what?
We had him for like 5 hours.
We did. I know. It was a really long story. which I think the only thing that we did not touch on was the fact that it's not really a whole topic that we really need to go into, I don't think, but Vivien's like ability to see the future and whatnot, she didn't cry.
Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't have a vision of Hugo.
Yeah.
She
When
cried.
he fell.
Hugo.
She cried when he got stabbed, yeah, but she didn't have a vision.
Maybe it wasn't explicitly said that she had a vision, but she might have had a vision.
If she did, she
But
would
I
have
feel
cried.
like if she did have a vision, they would have shown us.
Yeah, they would have
like,
had. They
very
would have. They
deliberately.
would have shown us at least, even in her model, they would have had a tier. Like they have the tier technology now. Everyone knows when they figured that shit out, they started using it all the time. But if she had the vision, they absolutely would have had some sort of scene, whether it be in a comic panel or not, of her crying before that happened. Which is why when she did have another vision, it was the entire screen. It was only her eye with the tears and the vision, which, by the way, of that vision we did see, I guess we can go into that topic. I don't think that vision was literal. I know some people think that it was, and that we're going to have like wings as the MC. I do think it was a metaphorical visual that they gave us, but that we're not literally going to fall from the sky with wings. But I guess one interesting thing is how far back can Vivien, or sorry, how far forward can Vivien actually see in the future? Because on the post on Internet, the only reason why it showed up was because someone at the bottom commented and said, "I'm commenting to bump this old post back up." And it was talking about the Hollow disaster, which means it's an old post. But the only other instance of the vision that we see is with Sienna, which happens like 10-15 minutes after she sees it. But obviously, the vision she saw with the MC is not going to happen anytime soon, because it's been like, it's going to be days before that happens.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what are the limitations on her visions? Like, how far out can she actually see, if there is any? Like, obviously, I don't think she can control it.
Because because she only saw like a day or so ahead with that what's her name, the woman who died.
Sienna?
Yeah.
That was like 10 minutes. She saw the vision, and then we immediately went into the Hollow, and then she died.
Yeah.
Someone said that, but in hollows, does the time flow differently?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
it does,
it
but
gets a little bit
not.
distorted.
Yeah,
Like,
I
we
mean,
have
not
time
to a
distortion signs that are around
super.
hollows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There is literally the time distortion signs. Yeah.
Yeah, time distortion ahead, and it points to hollows.
The Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't see that Las Vegas sphere style black wall in front of me.
Hey, some people apparently accidentally wander into a hollow, so who the hell knows?
Hollows cast shadows.
Do what?
Sorry, that's so off topic. I was just wondering, like, the Las Vegas sphere is like a big physical object, and it casts a huge shadow. I was just wondering if hollows ever cast shadows.
Oh,
I don't think it's ever been explored.
we shouldn't think about that.
well,
I'm not the lore guy,
less
but,
about
like,
being explored. I mean, visually, if we just go in game, we could see, like,
I feel like
it
they never
would
give us a good
cast
angle on that.
I mean, unless it's always behind the hollow, I feel like there should be at least one shot. I mean, you make a very valid point. I never looked
if you
into
go to,
that. I don't
like,
know.
I would probably say like Port Elpis might be like the best place to see that.
Because you could see it on the water. I mean, you
Yeah.
could, because you could see, well,
But
it
you could
reflects
see the
off the
reflection,
water.
right?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a very good point, actually.
I didn't mean to derail that. I just, yeah.
Yeah, no, you make a very valid point. Oh, well, that's not really. Never mind. I was gonna for some reason I talked about this in my original lore story. I don't know why it came in my mind, but the hollow haze in the outer ring, and how I feel like that is separate from the dark wall, but some people thought that it was the dark wall. But the hollow haze is like encroaching on the outer ring. It literally says it's encroaching, which Like, I feel like we're about to get demolished by
Go on,
something. Yeah, I don't know. I want to know more about what that is also. But yeah, I need to look into that. I need to see if there's any shadows from any of the hollows.
We'll rain check that for next time.
Yeah.
To wrap up
sorry.
this like overarching general like story conversation, because we mainly talked about the stuff that was going on in the story,
Mhm.
are you guys looking forward to anything that gets touched upon, that gets circled back to, or that gets introduced in story B?
In story B.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can't wait
literally
to have
everything.
Hugo on my account.
Yeah, I also can't wait to have you on my account. I am absolutely in love with scythes. So the moment I saw that Hugo used a scythe, I was like, yep, you're getting in my account. But yeah, I mean, as far as what I want to see in B, I mean, literally everything. Because the entirety of A, as we just figured out, 3 hours worth of discussions of threads that could be explored, and each thread has multiple routes with
Yeah.
evidence to back up each. So I just hope that they gave themselves enough time to write a actual satisfying payoff for everything that they've built up in A, due to the fact that this
Yeah.
is the first time we've ever had a two-part
stories in a row?
two main stories in a row. And
Sacrifice waking up thing is gonna be from part B.
yeah, for
Easily.
sure. For sure. It's still weird that line was in the trailer. I will say, I don't know why they put that there.
It's actually very on brand for them
Is it?
because they do that. Yeah, they do that a lot. Like in some of the other games, like for example, in Star Rail for the Euphorious trailers, there's a lot of stuff in there that definitely didn't happen in 3.0 when it first came out. And
Oh, yeah.
honestly, some of them may never happen. But sometimes what they do, especially if they're going to do like an Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, they will sneak in some lines from, the second part of a quest or something like that. And a lot of it is just because they want you to get teased about the whole story that they're telling and not
Mhm.
necessarily about
Yeah.
just what's in this quest. So I am fully on board with the idea that that's going to happen in Part B because they do that in Genshin from time to time as well.
Sorry,
They like making the stupid
I
trailers.
was corrected. That character Yi Xuan, is I there might be leaks on her, but I will say, yeah, I know you wanted to talk about this, so we can do
Yeah.
that before this podcast ends. In the Lost Void, there is a new faction that was introduced. I don't remember what the actual faction name. It was some martial artist thing, but yeah,
That was something Summit.
something Summit. But Zhu
Mhm.
Fufu, who is a tiger Thyran, and then her master, who has white hair and is apparently very reserved. Her name is Yi Xuan. So yes, we do have another new faction that's probably going to actually be released before the Idols.
Mhm.
Yes, that Summit. I still don't know how to say the name.
Yunkui? That's
Yunqui?
my guess.
That's a better way
Even
than
like
how I
I don't
said
know
it.
if it's Cantonese or Mandarin, but Yun Koi.
Yunkui.
Maybe it's supposed to be Koi, I think. I forgot what that I wouldn't know what that translates to in
I'm the worst person to ask
Cantonese.
about
I am.
pronunciation. so
I'm a fake
I'm
Chinese.
assuming it's
so
like it doesn't look Mandarin. I'm pretty sure it's Cantonese. I'll circle back to it.
For now, Summit.
The Summit faction.
Yes. And I
The
will
new
say,
faction.
I do want to say, I do not think her master is a Void Hunter. I do want to put that out there.
Mhm.
I know some people were thinking that because she said that she was strong enough to solo Geppetto.
Yep.
But technically we fought off, like we've fought off Geppetto with our crew. But it doesn't make sense to, I'm assuming that her and her master would be released. And if she's going to be released after like 1.7, if it's 1.8, whatever, 2.0, however they structure it, it would be way too soon to get another Void Hunter. So I don't think that she is a Void Hunter, but I do think she is definitely someone very powerful, clearly. But I don't think the bird thing is interesting. We can talk about that. The bird had the ethereal-esque eye on its back.
eye on the
and it
back,
had
yeah.
glowing eyes. And when she came out of the hollow, she didn't have the bird, and she was talking about how she was waiting to see her master come back. So if that bird is somehow an ethereal, then it would match Miyabi's thing, which I know you're gonna be like, oh, but you're Void Hunter. If it is somehow an ethereal as the bird, then it makes sense that you can't see it outside of the hollow, because you can't see Miyabi's eye thing outside of the hollow either.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a good point.
And the bird was cute. The bird was a little chonky guy.
Like my interpretation was like you know the guy from JJK, what's his name? The shadow
Describe him.
the shadow guy, what's his name?
Fushiguro?
Yeah, Fushiguro. She can summon ethereal like manifestations of like shadow, like, you know, animals and stuff like that. And, you know, the little bird could be one of her like familiars that she's able to, like, you know,
that would be sick.
summon and
I
use.
mean, I
Yeah.
would love to see that. What if they sacrificed animals and stuff? That would be terrifying.
That would be very.
I mean, they sacrificed humans for organs.
That is
so who
true.
knows?
That is true. Another, I guess the final thing that we can touch on is the fact that we have they like changed the look of Hollow Zero. We now see the like chasm like bridges around the side of it, and we now have like the entire like front view of the literal floating like cities left over from Eridu in front of it. It looks so sick. Like what a good visual update to Hollow Zero. And also the fact that now they have helicopters flying in and out. That's new too, which is really cool.
Oh my god, I definitely got to do that later.
Yeah, you have to. It's
But
very
yeah, I mean,
quick
speaking
too.
of new characters though. Oh, just in general. I wanted to ask you guys like thoughts on her designs of some of the possible new faction.
Well, we've only seen her.
We've only seen her.
Yeah, we didn't get to see her Yixuan. But Zhufufu is adorable. She's literally just a little,
Very cute.
just this little tiger. I think like chat said, she was giving A rank. So I do think that she's gonna be an A rank.
a little bit.
On her back, she had some sort of device that looked like it had like a flame symbol on it. So I think it would be cool if she was like some sort of like flame character. But I have no idea like what she would be. But we do need more A ranks. So I'm glad to see that. What was your question?
Oh,
What
my
we'd like
question
to
was just-
see
yeah.
on new
What we'd like to
factions?
see. Yeah.
Well, my question was mostly like, how do you feel about this new faction? And we only do have one character.
Yeah.
But aesthetically,
Very
how
cool.
do we feel?
I like the fact that it's another martial arts like clan, because I want to see more like fist fighting characters, like lighter. Like no weapon, but
Oh,
just
yeah.
straight movement.
Yep.
Like I think that would be really sick.
Because no, to that point exactly, when I was, jumping into the hollow to meet Zhufufu, I wanted to see what kind of weapon they might be able to, bring to the table.
Mhm.
I didn't see like a holster or like how all the characters have like the holster in the boot or whatever for their
Yeah.
swords or anything. Like I didn't see any of that. So I'm suspecting that they're going to base this, Tiger Thyron Summit faction off of martial arts. And, Zhufufu could literally be fisticuffs.
I would love that. I will follow up.
Uh-huh.
I do think that because she knew her master had already been through there and destroyed all the ethereals, she literally just didn't. She knew she wouldn't have to fight. Or wait, did it say that she fought? In my mind, she didn't fight because her master already went through and cleared all of them. And so I was thinking her job there was more as like a reconnaissance.
Yeah.
type
No,
of
but
situation.
I still think she would
bring
like.
a weapon though.
Yeah,
You would think
just in
so,
case or
but
something.
I
Or that
feel
it
like
would be
she's
part of her design at least.
Yeah. But you're right. There was
Yeah.
I also did, because I tried to look really close at her design, and I did not see an actual weapon either.
Yep. So
Yeah, but it's exciting. I really like how they do sort of drip these characters even outside of the drip marketing itself
Yeah.
in events and allow us to slowly kind of get to know them before they actually become official additions to the game.
Hmm.
Because they've done this throughout the entirety of Zenless Zone Zero, especially before we got the Sons of Caledon, we would see them around the streets. We'd be able to kind of interact with them, meet them before we even think about going to the Outer Ring in the main story.
Yeah.
So, do you think in Part B they might decide to drip her master?
I don't
Mayhaps?
think it'll be in part B. I think we might get another Lost Void thing because this one was unbelievably
Mm.
short. And
Okay.
and Ray said that she got a lot of information. Oh, I didn't. I'm gonna leave it. Just know she got information. I'm gonna let you figure out how. But Ray gets a lot of information, and she says that she will reach back out to us when she like gets it all like basically in a report, I guess. And then she'll reach out to us and share more information. So I would like to get another Lost Void story next update because this one was really, really short, and I want lore.
You want more.
Yeah.
I mean, that was only part 1. They gave us 2 missions at the start, so
Mhm.
you know, I wouldn't, be surprised if, since this patch was A, next patch is B, they're gonna bring that second part in.
Yeah,
You know,
it would be
I wouldn't
nice.
be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess we've all seen the drip marketing for Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Because we already know the designs and everything like that. But they did mention that they're going to upgrade the model after seeing
Yeah,
like
Hugo's model. Yeah.
after people were kind of upset that he was not as pretty as people thought he was from before in the events.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm curious what the changes are going to be if they didn't already do it. Cuz like
Mhm.
I
generally
like
think it's
his
the facial model.
Yeah. I think it's
but
gonna be
he's
kind of
so,
like Miyabi.
I think he's pretty
He
as
looks
hell.
great already.
Yeah, I think he's like
Yeah.
literally one of the best face models we have.
I don't even think it's about him being pretty. There's some aspects to him that I think are just washed out and don't
Mhm.
quite look
That's fair.
as slick
Like
as
on
his
his
character
model?
sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
So
like the
not his
hair color
face.
is really dull.
Okay, okay.
Oh no,
also I feel
the
like
face actually isn't updated that much. It's not like a Miyabi situation.
Mhm.
Like they're
Oh wait,
altering it a little bit, but mostly they're altering like the color of his hair.
Oh,
They
did they show it
changed
already?
his.
did they did they show it already?
Well, I mean, if you look at his drip,
Oh no, but usually the drip is kind of different from the models in game, right?
yeah,
Because
but I'm pretty sure they showed the model too. But I'm like if you compare it to
They
the
might
drip, there's
have.
still some changes between the
Mhm.
two.
Yeah, because the
Like
Miyabi situation, honestly, like and to their points, the Miyabi new model definitely was much, when they came out with the somewhat semi-new drip marketing of her
Mhm.
model. Remember in the introductory poster of the patch, and then now that model followed suit. I think more than likely, like we will see the updated version,
When he yeah.
in the next patch.
Yeah, that was really
yeah,
fun
because
the
they
Miyabi
did
thing.
state that it's going to come out in 1.7.
yeah, like
that's
the
so
thing
not
is,
gonna
it
work
might
yet.
look.
I mean, like they had enough time to update his drip art. Like if you look at his drip art, he doesn't have the same scarf.
Oh, is the scarf different? Oh, I
Mm.
didn't notice that.
The scarf's
It's the
different.
shiny
Like in the
silky
model in
one.
game, he's got the scarf that goes around the front and the ties underneath it. And then if you look at his drip in the drawn image, he doesn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
the tie. So they streamlined his model. His hair color is totally different. Like they didn't really change a lot, but like I think they've just polished him. It like
Mhm.
there's not.
Yeah.
They made him look more. I think they look like the scarf feels very 1950s.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's kind of what they were going for. I think when they got the feedback, they're like, okay, he needs to be a little bit more modern because he feels a little
Old school.
frumpy. I
Okay.
still think he's pretty, but he did look a bit frumpy.
I can see
Let's
it.
see. Hold on. I'm gonna grab. Maybe Josh, you can
Yeah, I was gonna
Post
say.
that. Post
add
that.
some stuff
Post that.
in.
Josh will put it up.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of work to do in this.
I was gonna say good luck because anytime you want to edit like a lore podcast, I mean you were literally sitting here listening. I mean we jump
You
all
don't
over
you
the
don't have
place.
to. I'm gonna put it in the chat. anyway.
Um,
But yeah, like they're making some adjustments, and I think they're good adjustments because, like, again, I think they're just streamlining him a bit.
um, is there any other topics that you guys wanted to bring up? And if not, chat, is there any questions that you want to ask? Because I think we'll probably have to start winding it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lore discussions go really hard.
Yeah, it makes my brain go into overdrive mode. I'm
This is my second
pretty
like
tired.
3.5 hour stream today, so
Oh, did you stream the Zenless thing?
Oh,
Were you
I've-
doing streaming the Zenless thing earlier today?
I was doing a Genshin thing
Genshin
earlier.
The Genshin,
Dragon.
yeah,
Oh, the
Genshin
moon
5.5.
thing, huh? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, 5.5.
Oh, the update
Yeah.
show. Okay.
Yeah, so if I posted the thing in chat, if you just wanted to take a quick look at
Oh, yeah, let me
like
see.
Hugo versus his
Oh.
drip, even just like the upper part.
Mm.
So you can see they're just making like
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
you
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can see what they're adjusting, right?
Yeah,
Because like
yeah,
he
yeah.
feels a little old-fashioned, and I don't think they wanted him to be old-fashioned. Really, I think they just maybe
Sure,
didn't
yeah.
get around to updating the model before they put him in the event, and then they're just like, shoot, we actually don't have time for all this other stuff, and then didn't polish it. Because like they make all of these models and stuff way ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, like friggin', we had models for and art for Bernice like during the beta.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't play the beta,
And-
so.
And for Big Daddy. Well, I mean, like
Well,
it was
they
data
weren't.
mined
They
stuff.
weren't. Yeah, I
Like,
was
I'm
gonna
just
say they
saying we
weren't
have
in the
it.
beta,
We
but
had it.
yeah, it must have been in the files.
No, they weren't
yeah.
in the beta. But yeah, they had them in the file. That's what I'm saying. Is like they've already modeled her. I mean, obviously
Mhm.
they made adjustments to her as they got closer to release. And I think that's kind of also this is one of the things where I keep saying like Zenless feels like it's going a little bit clumsy. And I do think it's because they've had to do these big sweeping changes and it really
Mhm.
just screwed with their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's showing in little things like this. I do think part of it may have been based on feedback. I think they may have just been like, okay, we'll take this opportunity to get some feedback anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I think they were going to do it anyway. Because, like, drip marketing, for example, is done way ahead of time. So the fact that the drip marketing has a different look from the model already says to me that they probably had
An
Ideas to
idea
change
for
it.
how they
Yeah.
wanted to.
they already knew
polish.
what they were doing and they'd finished the concept art and all that other kind of stuff and they just hadn't quite made it to the point where they could get his model and all his combat animations and everything else all smoothed out before.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work there because they got to do all the rendered cutscenes, they've got to do the comic pages, they've got to do the actual model, they've got to do the combat models.
I
Yeah,
am
and then the
curious how
physics
long
in
those
combat.
the comic panels take, because like I said, that one Vivien art was unbelievably like that shit is so good. We when I asked what chat wanted, there's a couple questions that we can speed run through. Accelerator
Yeah.
asked, "Will we go to the Moon Hollow? Maybe end game. We tend to go to
The
moons in Hoyo
moon.
games. I
Yes,
wouldn't be
absolutely.
surprised. We already know that we can
Absolutely, we're
teleport
totally going to the
through
moon.
hollows via fissures, so I'm sure we'll teleport to the moon somehow. Do events in this game or in Hoyo game get lore relevance? Yes, and unfortunately, a few of them are not permanents, which I will make videos on them. I need to make a video on the Exaltists, just in general, because I know a lot of people are confused. Speaking about A ranks becoming S ranks, yeah, S rank Billy was again teased in this, and also
yeah.
teased in the dev stream. So we're definitely getting an S rank Billy at some point.
For those who don't know, we're
forgot they did
referencing it's the Sambi story quest, where
Yeah.
at
He
the
has one
end
line.
we talk to Billy, and he states that he might put on the old threads. So that's
Yeah.
that's a fun little nod. Sorry, Ashikai, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying I forgot about that. Yeah.
S rank
I
Billy
was
go
excited about
burr.
that.
That's really exciting.
I can't wait for the entirety of the Cunning Hairs to be 5 stars.
I know, I
before
know.
Nicole does.
I was saying, oh my god.
Nicole's is gonna
Nicole
go
needs one too.
crazy. I mean, Nicole's absolutely gonna
Dude.
get one. The lore relevance Nicole
Yeah.
has, like,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh, speaking
She
of
connects everyone.
prophecies,
Oh,
you want
yeah.
to talk about prophets? Look at Nicole.
Oh, of how she just happens to like
She
grab
always happens to
everyone.
be in the right
Yeah.
time. And the thing is she moonlights as a fortune teller. And I think like in the game file she's listed as Nostradamus or something.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
I didn't know that
Okay.
actually.
What? Whoa.
I didn't know she was.
There's something like that. I'll look up the specifics of it.
Yeah.
But
We can follow
my
up with
lore
it next
buddy,
time.
yeah, my
Yes.
lore buddy
Yeah.
Kat
Yeah.
is tracking basically every instance of Nicole doing something.
Because she's
predictive.
fishy.
Is Nicole
Yeah.
the Elio of Zenless Zone Zero?
For real.
She knows
And
what's
just the
going
fact that
on.
now Vivien has that, and Nicole's just like, well, I've got lots of things in my past that I don't want to deal with too.
Yeah.
Like,
And she is very mysterious
some-
about it.
She is very
Apart from like
mysterious
the
about it.
trailer that we got, she keeps mentioning how like she has stuff she doesn't want to deal with or stuff she doesn't. She's been through stuff, and I think it's definitely referring to more than just her backstory that we saw from the promotional material at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's all
she
building
even
up for
said that
S-Rank
wasn't
Nicole.
real.
Is Nicole the creator? No way. Someone
would be
said
excited
thoughts on playable agent Phaethon. I think if
Ooh.
if they were ever playable, I think it will be like selectable passives that you can like give in battle. I don't think it'll be like actually like playable, but I think it'll be like
Mhm.
passive support
Mhm.
that they can like give to agents as opposed to.
See, I disagree. I think they will be playable.
You think so?
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think they're gonna make you pull
Straight
on
up.
Wise and Bell separately, or just like whoever your playable character
Oh,
is?
God.
No,
Or
I think they'll swap. I think they'll have a stance swap where they swap in.
I mean,
Really?
shit, if we get a tag team, Wise and
Interesting.
Bell going
Think about it.
crazy on
What if-
them, I'm down.
What if you had what if EOS, because EOS is getting older, what if EOS is the one that stays behind in the HDD? and
operates by
helps
himself?
Fairy? No, seriously,
Yeah.
helps Fairy, helps manage the store and stuff like that, and then Wise and Bell have like a remote HDD terminal that they kind of connect to
I forgot
in the
to
holo, and
mention
they can like
that.
interact with each other.
Why did
Okay.
Fairy not say anything about the HDD upgrade? Why was she so not in this update?
Oh.
Fairy had like one
Right.
line. I know we're like literally at the end, so we can't really go into it, but that's a huge thing I wanted to talk about. Fairy didn't say shit about that upgrade at all. She said,
Right.
that's what she said the entire time. She was silent.
None of my business.
Like, because all of this is still gonna tie into whatever the contract was that we signed with Fairy.
Yeah.
Like, what's the opportunity? Whatever. I feel like there should have been a line. Fairy should have said something about the upgrade, but there wasn't.
Yeah. Or if
Maybe part
anything, it's a
B.
situation where like it'll be followed up, like, oh, they're having Fairy run that background check because like it's real time, right? They get the
Mhm.
upgrade, we're moving out to go help the mayor run an errand and then another errand. So like I feel as though Fairy will circle back on
That
it.
is fair. I am also curious if that upgrade somehow affected Fairy's capabilities. Because if it upgraded us, what if
Ooh.
it also somehow affected Fairy too?
True, because didn't they mention that the electricity bill changed?
Well, they
After
always
the
talk about
update,
the
or am I
electricity
just
bill.
listening?
I don't remember if they talked
No, but
about like.
No, but they mentioned that it got like better.
Yeah, it
I
would go.
think.
It would go down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so that
Yeah,
means
they mentioned that.
inherently Fairy could use more power then. Use more power, pay the same
It's straight
electricity
up.
amount.
But see, that's the interesting thing here, right? Because like, does the mayor, if they were able to do all that shit remotely, which that was the part that freaked me out, is like, wait, how are they accessing my HDD remotely?
Well, no, Lycon
how
did.
did we just give them permission? Like, no, that bothered me. But that just might be the web developer in me and my paranoia about security settings coming up. But no, so I was freaked out about that. But I was also like, wait a minute, like, Fairy's not saying anything about the HDD being upgraded, but at the same time, like, if it draws less power on us, then it's also going to draw less power on her, and that
Right.
means that she's going to be able to have increased capacity. So it's not just an upgrade for us; it's an upgrade for Fairy.
Yeah. Because she can just use more power this way.
And yet she had not really much of a relevance in part A.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
I think they
You do
might
have to
circle
wonder.
back.
You do have to wonder what her role is intended to be.
Yeah. I am curious when one
As
of the
is a lot of stuff.
well, it's because the AIs in general. Like I feel like
Mhm.
we're getting a lot of answers on a lot of stuff way faster than we ever would in any Hoyo game. Like they are giving us all these mysteries and we're like, oh, blah, 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 and then they start like literally just throwing answers at you and it's like, oh, I love this. Yes, but they still have like threads for you to find shit, and they have yet to say anything about the other AIs or like anything of Fairy's main objective. So I am really curious on that. And yeah, there's so many things happening. Yeah, have you talked about how the mayor knows Carol? There's so many things we could have touched on, but I feel like if we start talking again, it's gonna go on for another hour and a half. So this is on Josh. Do you want to do?
Every time.
I know. Do you want to
I
wrap
mean,
it up?
right
Do you want to
now
wrap it
we're
up?
kind of like, starting to head toward like the extended cut of things. I mean, if Ashikai has the time, we can like touch up upon just a few extra of those points. I don't really mind too much.
Yeah, it's up to you
Neither.
guys.
I think it's latest for me and Azzy, right?
Yeah, it is
Yeah, I
definitely
think so.
like almost
Mhm.
11.
Yeah, it's 10:34 right now
EST.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for CST. So yeah.
Oh, that's
So.
right. You're an hour
Oh.
behind me.
It's
Oh, so it's
11:30.
later for Ashikai.
Yeah, it's later for me.
Ashikai and Age.
I'm in the
EST.
future.
Yeah.
EST right
Quick,
up.
what does Fairy do?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, bet. So yeah, the mayor knowing Carol, suspicious? No.
I would assume that the mayor would know basically any big shots.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean that's fair, but he knew her personally, and I'm assuming he wasn't mayor 10 years ago.
True.
Yeah, but there must have been some
Well,
business that
he's from
involved,
the
research and
Mayflowers.
He is from the Mayflowers,
Yeah.
yeah. But that begs the question: what were the Mayflowers like actively doing inside of Helios? Like, what were they?
fair.
Like, were they funding
Right.
I
it?
mean,
They could have been funding it.
well, they were one of the founding families, though,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, they're the
Of
ones who
New
built
Eridu?
Eridu. Not just New Eridu, Eridu in general.
Yeah. So, like, it would make sense if their family's just really well connected to the institutes.
Yeah, that's
In
fair.
fact, maybe they're the primary funders of the institute. Who knows?
Yeah.
They issued the green light to fund. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But
I
it is
mean-
very suspicious how like willing the mayor was to just help us off rip, even if he has this connection to Carol in the past. Because he gave us the excuse of, oh, it's because I know you guys are very significant. You guys have this potential for the future, so that's why I want to be well connected with you, which is why I'm helping you right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the reason they gave us for why the mayor is helping us, even though it did feel very out of nowhere, right? Whether that was a writing thing because they had to kind of speed up stuff from like a meta perspective in terms of like the plot from updates, or it was intentional in terms of the story. I feel like they might touch up on it in part B if anything, or even down the line. But I just found it very odd as a whole that he felt so willing to just solve such a big problem for us
Yeah, I mean,
immediately
it's also
with no real
weird
explanation.
that, I mean, he admitted that through the Marcel group, they have been monitoring us, right? Isn't that basically what he said? They've been gathering data on us
That's
this
not
entire
sneaky,
time.
though, guys. Like, come on.
Do what?
I mean, Phaethon's not sneaky.
Oh, no. I know.
You know,
I
like,
just think it's weird that
I'm
like
sure
the entire
everyone knows where we
time
are.
they've known like our data through EOS essentially, because like that's
Mm.
where they're getting most of it. EOS is the one connecting to the HDD. They're getting the data of us through the Marcel group, which is the Bangbu. So yeah, I mean they've continuously been building up stuff about the Marcel group. And Sunbringer is one of the most referenced Void Hunters besides Joyous. So I'm really interested in where they're going to start going with like the plot of Marcel group. Cuz as we know, I mean the mayor is not like friendly with the companies and tops behind the scenes, but seemingly is very friendly with the Marcel group and like willing to work with them. So either they're not a part of tops and they're a part of the like city administration, or ... I lost my train of
Need
thought. I lost my train
need
of thought.
more
Turn.
clues. Oh, Ashikai, were you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying it's his turn to lose his train of thought.
Oh yeah. Yep, my turn.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
if we, that's a pretty good segue back into, I guess, closing this up since we have been going on for a very long time. Is yeah, I feel like they are going to probably touch on the mayor and maybe the HDD system and the whole sibling situation in part B. I hope they do at least because it did feel very abrupt, and I feel like if they don't explain it immediately or at least make it satisfying down the line, it will feel a bit kind of like they just kind of shoved a plot point without really elaborating on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's one of the things I want to see in part B. And yeah, I guess final thoughts on part A, because we did kind of talk about most of the plot points, I would say. And then also kind of like what we want from part B is for them to conclude all of our theory threads.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, we already talked about like what we'd want to see in part B, but final thoughts on part A. Yeah, I mean, I still think even though we've dissected it a lot, and we talked about some of the flaws that it had with the Exaltists and the like MC upgrade or whatever. I do still think that it was incredibly well written. I do think it was still incredibly well paced. And I am really, really excited that they have continuously kept up the great writing that they have since launch. Even though, like we've mentioned, there is some cracks showing in some places. But I do have absolute faith in the devs to like follow up on it and fix things if needed, because I mean, they've gone in and changed the story and they've already gone in and changed the early story stages to make it more apparent that they have the implants, right? Like they've actively changed dialogue in the early story to just straight up tell people that the MCs have the eye implants. So if they hear feedback about the Exaltists, I wouldn't be surprised if they went back and like added it in like somewhere else for the like newer player base to not have that issue. So yeah, love the devs, trust them with all my heart, and I'm excited to see part B whenever that happens. 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't
all
remember how
things
long this patch
considered,
is.
all things considered, I think the devs are doing a really great job and they're adapting quite well.
Yeah, to all the demands
unforeseen
too, right?
circumstances. Yeah. I think they, it's a learning process. It's a young dev team, and they're kind of figuring out that like, who their audience is and how to appeal to them and what should go where and all. They're figuring it out and they're adapting quite well, I think, and with a speed that is unusual.
Yeah, remarkable.
Impressive.
Absolutely remarkable. I mean, they've literally mentioned like no matter how much hair I lose, they're gonna do it. Yeah, so I don't want the devs to be overworked, but my God, are they absolutely putting in work?
I was gonna say I hope they have double shifts like that they swap off on and have like an actual decent work-life balance, because like the sheer amount of work is impressive.
It really is.
Honestly. So
yeah,
overall,
and to
I'm pretty
piggyback
excited.
off of that, like coming from the just to put my little 2 cents into it, piggybacking off of that from the gotcha perspective and like the more like competitive, like fighter combat aspect of it, like they've put still so much into the game. More events, they put the extra Lost Void stuff in, more polychromes, just even aside from the story, there's just so much extra stuff in this patch. And yeah, I think kind of everyone's eating for a third patch in a row.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry,
there was a lot of combat aspects. well, and here's the thing. I think Polkra is still going to be an aside for now, just because like this whole conversation, can take even that much longer, right? But yeah, like, talking about Silver Soldier Ambi, Polkra, and we even got to play with Trigger
Yeah, and
that's a
she's
whole
so
different
fun.
conversation.
Yeah, I know
She's
this
very,
was
very fun.
supposed to be more like lore dedicated because
Yeah.
Ashikai's here, and I unfortunately got amplified by the fact that she's here and yapped a lot.
No, and that's why and like that's why we brought Ashikai in, right? To be able to
Have these
kind of
conversations.
feed that side of that of the audience. So again, thank you,
I mean,
Ashikai,
as
for
he's
coming
here,
on.
he still feeds that side of the audience.
Yes, but when there's other like not saying that Age and Josh don't know like a lot about the lore, but when you have a more deeper
we don't know a
understanding
lot
and I
about the
can
lore.
throw an idea at you and then you
Yeah.
can just like catch it and make it bigger and throw it back, like it adds a lot to it. But yes, I
Right.
do appreciate you you joining, and I there is still more to this update. So if we want to do like another like lore podcast towards the end, or if you want to have it
Yeah, like
like
after
be
Trigger Story
combat
comes out
based,
too.
yeah, that too. And then once everything is like winding down towards the end, also Ashkai, if you want to, not to plug my thing, but if you want to join on Fairy Radio again, we could talk more about lore like at the end of the patch.
Yeah, happy to.
Amazing.
Talking about plugs, H, Wanda's down here.
Oh yeah, well, overall, sorry this was so long, everyone, but I personally learned a lot, okay? Because I love story, but again, it is different to hear people who are super, super, invested and knowledgeable about details and getting to know the nitty gritty of every single little tidbit that Zenless wants to feed to us. So thank you for discussing so much, honestly, and this makes me really want to go just watch even more lore videos. So definitely
Hell
gonna
yeah.
do that after.
Amazing.
And but yeah, overall, thanks for watching, everyone. You guys want to do your outro? Say goodbyes.
Yeah.
Plug yourself again. Speaking of plugs.
Yep, Ashkai, you go first. You're the
yeah.
guest.
I've only got a YouTube channel.
And it's
But it's one
Ashikai.
hell of a YouTube channel.
It is one hell of a
And
YouTube
it's my
channel.
name. That's it. I've got a YouTube channel. It's my name. I've been slacking on Zenless content a little bit because scheduling issues, but I have a couple of ideas of stuff I want to make. So you might see a theory from me soonish.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's go. Huge dub.
Look forward to it.
There you go.
All right.
Well, yeah,
Same order as intro then.
Yeah, my name's Az. As you can tell from this entire yapping session, I cover Zenless lore, and I do have an ungodly long list of videos I would like to make. Too bad I absolutely hate editing and have zero self-discipline to make them. So if you subscribe, you're subscribing for my streams, because anyone knows if you come into my stream, I will yap about lore and answer mostly any question. And I am working on videos. I do have videos planned, and they will come out eventually. It'll be a nice little treat when it does drop. But yeah, thank you guys for joining this absolute yap session of lore. It was very fun, and yeah, thanks for joining the podcast.
Okay. Josh.
All right. Well, you didn't hear too much from me today, but like Age, I was processing a lot. You guys will catch me at Jshua on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I do almost of like a smorgasbord of content surrounding Zenless zzzero combat and variety. So yeah, I make guides over on Twitter. Those guides kind of translate over to YouTube videos as well, and we are actively working on our early access to Trigger as well, among some other videos that will
Ooh.
touch back upon Sambi, Pulchra, and potentially some of the Mockingbirds. So if you guys are in the mood for a little bit of combat knowledge and prowess and expertise, actually, next week should be my advanced Sambi guide, as well as going through M0 to M6 as well, because there are some interesting nuances when it comes to building and playing. But I digress.
I'll need that.
Yeah,
That's me.
for real.
We'll be looking forward to it.
All
But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Oh, I'm last then.
Last,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. I'm AGEKK on all socials. If you search it, you'll probably find it. And yeah, I don't go into lore as deeply as Ashikai and Az, obviously, but I do love story very much, and I love to theorize whenever I react to stories. So hopefully you guys can catch some of those on YouTube and Twitch if I'm live. And yeah, once in a while I'll post some singing covers and things like that for video games as well because I think it's fun. And I hope this podcast was okay. It's my first time hosting a podcast. I was really nervous. I mean, I kind of let Az and Ashikai go off a bit and just have their own discussion points, but I still hope it was good nonetheless.
Yes, it was
And
very
yeah,
good.
but yeah, thank you so much to Ashikai for coming on. It was super fun. Hopefully we can, if our schedules work out, maybe we can do a follow-up in the future with even more lore discussions, since it seems like chat really enjoyed it. And yeah, thanks for listening to the Proxy Podcast episode 5. We do this bi-weekly, or we do this on a regular basis. Josh,
Yes.
Az, and I, we host episodes where we like to talk about a bunch of different stuff. Today was a lore dump, but maybe next time we could talk more about the combat for the upcoming characters when Trigger comes out. So hopefully you guys can subscribe to the Spotify if you're listening there, YouTube channel if you're
Yes.
watching there, and yeah, check out everyone who was here. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
One
Thanks
more
for
point.
listening.
One more point.
Oh.
Go over to Spotify.
Yes.
Rate us
Okay,
5
okay.
stars.
Exactly.
And next podcast, we'll be reading your guys' ratings and your guys'
Ooh.
comments. So yes, please. That is another segment that we want to do. So make sure you guys head over either to the YouTube side of the podcast or on Spotify and make sure you guys rate us and comment. So
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks for listening.
See you
Everyone
later.
say bye.
Bye bye, chat.
Ashikai can't wave, but
Yeah, don't worry. Ashikai saying bye too.
Thank you for having me.
thank you for
that
joining.
ends the recording. There we go. There we go, everybody.
Amazing.
Ah.
Well, that was very fun. That was good. I appreciate you letting us yap. Thanks.
It
That was a
a
nice
very
break for
good
me.
yap
I'm like,
session.
yep.
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
was like, chill.
Sorry if we
for me, it
melted
was
your
less
brain.
of you know, I wasn't working too hard vocally, but my brain was trying to keep up.
Yeah.
It was chugging.
Uh,
But yeah, sorry if I was stuttering a lot.
Oh no, you're good. I know it's.
I was listening to
hosting
some of
it
our
can
first
be.
podcasts.
What was
I was
wrong?
like, I
What
need
was wrong
to-
with the first ones?
I need to speak better. I mean, I said like a lot, so I'm trying to stop doing that as much. And then
Honestly,
just in general, trying to be more eloquent in my speech
who
mannerisms.
cares?
I
But, you
love
know.
the parts when Josh nods and agrees. You like hey, you like how I switch it up, Moon? You like how I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, and then I
Yeah.
go like, and then I
It's
gave
like,
you guys different
ooh.
angles, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
yes,
Yeah.
thank you all. I know we normally have like another extended part here, but I do want to go get more food.
I want a burrito.
Yeah, I should
so,
eat dinner
Yes,
too.
but again, thank
We
you
must
all
abscond.
for
Want
being on the
snacks?
podcast. Yeah, go get snacks too.
Snackies.
And yes, again,
Yeah.
thank you,
It's
Ashikai, for
bedtime.
joining. It was
Mhm.
very good.
Can have
thank
snacks
y'all,
before
folks.
And-
bedtime.
And if you
Here
guys
I
are on the
have-
live
You
right
can. It's
now,
bedtime
you
snack.
guys got to click that subscribe button. See if you guys have a Prime box over there. Make sure you guys Prime sub to everybody over here if you guys are on our respective channels.
Or YouTube
and,
membership.
Yeah.
Or
there you
YouTube
go.
memberships,
Yeah,
hey,
good
Mhm.
call.
I have a command. I have all the links in chat.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, make sure you guys follow all of us and the other amazing guests that we have to come. As you want to announce our next guests because they're confirmed now.
Who? I don't even know who it is. Did you say it?
We talked about
The
them.
person you guys
Yeah.
were talking about before.
Yeah. The
You
person
guys
I
were
was like,
talking about
oh,
it before."
hey, should we bring this person on?
I have zero
person.
recollection.
Wow,
It's-
so
Hey,
specific.
back scroll.
Back scroll. Look at it, As. Look at it.
Oh, is it in which one? Which chat is it in?
Our Three Stooges chat.
Oh, our Three Stooges. Hold on.
Yeah. The person I was asking to connect.
Back scroll
Where?
of shame.
Az has no idea what's going
I'm
on.
so lost right now. How far back
Everybody,
was it? Yeah, there you go.
next
You announce
Proxy
it.
podcast, we're gonna have Z Kodla. We're gonna have Z Kodla over
Oh.
on the podcast. Yep.
Oh
Yep,
my
there it is.
god.
Yes, all the way across the water. They're going to be joining us, which is going to be very, very exciting. That's going to be, I believe, the 28th podcast. That should be the next one, and then we might have a back-to-back on that week, just because how things are scheduled. So
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Noted.
I'm very excited for that one. My bad, Zigodla. It was in my mind. It was not confirmed at all. I there was one message of me being like,
Right,
"She's in
yeah.
this server.
It was
You can
one
reach
message. It
out."
was one.
That is my bad.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
zero prep for that.
Yeah, but yeah, if you guys know any other creators that would like to, or you think would be great for this podcast, I have a few in mind already that are lined up past the next podcast. I'm trying to reach out to them already. If you guys in chat have any fun other creators or creatives around the space that you would like to bring on, we would love to take suggestions. So
Yeah, amazing.
Let us
Alrighty.
know.
All right, well,
let's wrap it up.
yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you again, and have a good night. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody in the
I
share
want
chat.
food
Say
so
goodbye to each
bad.
other.
I know.
Everybody in the share chat, say goodbye to each other. You guys will never see
Bye-bye.
each other
Share chat.
ever
Oh,
again.
true. Yeah. Goodbye, other
Share
You
chat.
chats.
guys will
gotta say
be
your
never
goodbyes.
see each other ever again,
Your
unless you
farewells.
follow all of us.
Yep. Yep. Goodbye, knock
That's
knock.
true.
I'll
Knock
see you. I'll see you later, chats.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Amazing. That was really fun. I'm sorry if we absolutely scrambled y'all's brains there. I will say that also went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Which is not bad. I actually really enjoyed that. That was really fun. But I hope y'all enjoyed that just as much as it was participating in it. And yeah. Oh, you probably can't see me. There you go. Now you can see me. Anyway, yeah, thanks for coming out and watching. There's a lot of you here. And YouTube chat in shambles. I tried to implement them as much as we could, but to be fair, we didn't really talk to chat directly by any means. But I got a few Nelsie chats in there, I did my best to get the YouTube side in. Yo, Tactical Bumper Ducky coming in right when I'm ending. How you doing? But yeah, that was great. I'm definitely losing my voice a little bit. Well, not really. It'll be back in an hour or so. I dozed off. It's so late. Yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning in for as long as you did. If you stayed here for the whole podcast, you guys are goated. I'm so sorry I forgot your Pop-Tart question, Nelsie. I think I did see it and I completely forgot. I was not expecting to be this EP. We were using your brain power, dude. We were talking about a lot of in-depth stuff. So yeah, your guys' brains may be fried. My brain is a little fried. Talking about in-depth stuff like that for that long, it definitely you start to mismatch. And I mean, I got off track. Ashikai got off track. So, but yeah, thank you guys for joining. It was super fun. I know I said that we're probably going to do a little bit of the NB combat after we finish the podcast today, but it is a little bit later. It went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So we'll do that at some point, either this weekend or whenever the full Pulchra event is out and we do that, then I can do it on that stream as well. But yeah. Amazing. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it. And we'll be doing these podcasts bi-weekly. So if you want to tune in for the next one, do that. And yeah, thank you all. If you're new around here, link to my Discord and Twitter's in the description. I always say when I go live next on there. And yeah, Nelsie, any follow-up questions we can also do in Fairy Radio when if we get Ashikai back on. But yeah, thank you. I love you all. Good night. Mwah. Get some good rest for your brains. Eat up. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.